We talk football and current events, sitting and chatting with the very best guests, with two Scottish boys and we're loving it. So if you like witty banter, check the former #1 podcast on iTunes, Sitting and Chatting.
Hello and welcome back to the Sitting and Chatting podcast. I'm Whyte.
I'm Allan.
I'm Dylan, back again, fourth time.
Try not to sound too fucking happy about it.
I don't know. This peaked before the recording started, so.
Yeah, naturally, to be fair. Back again, over Zoom. One person here might have ruined it for everyone. I can't possibly think who might have been.
Oh, no, it's two people that's ruined it now, so.
Actually, no, to be fair, yeah, technically, yeah. You would
I'm
have been...
I'm the only person that's not ruined it.
I know, Emma would have fucking ruined it as well. You wouldn't have been able to come here until that. So, you know, it's actually her fault.
But you had it first.
So we
I've not got COVID, Dylan. You have COVID.
I don't have the COVID.
Oh, it feels good not having COVID, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel to have COVID, Liam?
Actually, completely normal. I feel totally fine, which
How
is...
does it feel knowing you ruined people's Christmases, Liam?
Fuck you. Fuck you. So, yeah, for those that don't know, after the last podcast, you know, looking forward to the big end of the year special. You know, it's going to be a nice experience. Dylan's finally going to be able to record one of these in person instead of having to do it over Zoom. And then, of course, do a lateral flow test one day just before Christmas, and boom, I've got the Rona. Which is quite annoying.
Corona time.
Yeah, I literally got, well, I've done the lateral flows, one came out positive. I've done another 4 after that, all were negative. So, you know, when I done my PCR, I was quietly confident, like, this will just be a false positive, easy days, I'll get into Christmas Day. And then about 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve, I get the text message through, yeah, you're fucked. Stay in the house.
It's bizarre.
I mean, I literally have no symptoms as well. Like, I know obviously when I had it before, it fucked me. And when you've had it before, Jamie and Dylan, it's fucked you both up as well, hasn't it?
Well, I found on my second and third time that it was fine, but...
Yeah, but the first time I get it, out, yeah. What about, like...
I was fine. I just lost my taste in my smell.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I've even got that still. So, I mean, you know, I've also been pretty lucky in an unfortunate situation. I've also somehow as well managed to not infect anyone, which is also somehow pretty impressive.
You say that, but you work in a shop, so I'm reckon the fact
that do you know what as well, mate?
Passed on to one person.
I had a 3-day period off, and then on the day that I was meant to go back, I tested positive. So, you know.
Oh, well. So when did you catch it then is the question?
It's a very good question. The only time it actually can be is when I went Christmas shopping in the town. So, you know, I'm blaming Christmas on this one, quite frankly.
Is that why you tried to ruin everything else's?
Exactly. If I can't celebrate it, then none of you guys can.
You can unironically post it, ruined Christmas.
Yeah, no. Well, no, I would have done if I'd infected anyone. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. Unless,
you just ruined your own Christmas.
Yeah, pretty much. I self-sabotaged, you know, fucking... So, I mean, that was originally going to be the plan. I was going to be like, oh, you know, how was your Christmas? Because, you know, this one would have been so much better. You know, we've had a bit more freedom than last year, but...
Well, yeah. Because everybody was testing positive, I didn't go and do anything for Christmas. I sat in the house the majority of the day, done nothing, went to sleep at 6:30.
Did you see Zach open his presents or that?
I went in to see Zach open his presents, left the house at like 7 to go see him. Uber was trying to charge 19 quid for a 4-minute ride, so I went and phoned so I went and phoned a private hire and got it for a tenner. Still a tenner for like a 4-minute taxi ride. It's just the amount of stuff that we had.
Right, fair.
So that's you went in there, and where did you have dinner, or what did you have for dinner?
So we didn't have dinner. We had a big lunch. We had a Chinese for lunch because we all woke up at like 2 a.m. the night before. So we had a Chinese for lunch, and it was the next day that we had Christmas dinner.
Did you do a proper roast then?
Well, Misha's mum did. We partook.
What about you, Jamie? I mean, we kind of hinted towards it, though, obviously. I got COVID, but that wasn't found till after, was it?
No, I wasn't till after. Yeah. Well, I was still in the midst of somewhat isolating because I was had to get a PCR done because of you. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
We were. I had the full roast, I had the full scran, the full Monty, you know. Had it with the family downstairs. But
You actually got to have a proper Xmas then.
They had like the turkey, then they had Jamie's turkey at the side.
2 turkeys.
It's the Munchy Box special.
The Munchy Box special.
No, we had the full shebang. So I still had a good Christmas dinner and stuff. So it was decent.
Well, like, did you play any games or anything afterwards, or just have the meal and that was
We
it?
got a Rocket League.
No, so initially, obviously, every year we kind of play. We get the fucking Wii out because Snake Hunters plays it in at the end of the year, and then you fling it in the telly and like your wee grand plays the bowling and that. But we never done it because the telly's too advanced for the old fucking Scotland cables.
Oh no, it's a nightmare.
Oh no, you're gonna have to get like there must be some sort of splitter you can get.
You need to have the splitter.
So, but obviously, like the telly that we had for like the past 4 or 5 years, which was still a smart telly and stuff, still had the old the red, yellow.
Yeah.
I know it was the red, yellow, and white thing. But this year's the telly that we've got now just doesn't have that at all. So, we proceeded to what the fuck? I didn't know what we'd done. Nah, we just had a drink and then that was it.
Fair enough.
See how you bring that up? The only thing it reminds me of is whenever I got to play PlayStation 2 when it was pure late at night, you go over and you take it. So it was red, yellow, and
White.
green was red, yellow, and white, and you take out the yellow cable so that the audio wouldn't play. So that like any startup music or that you couldn't turn on the volume yet.
There was like see actually on the telly that we've got there's 2 what felt like 3.5mm headphone jacks. So we just tried to put the red one in for the
screen.
So fuck the audio and that, but none of them are fitting. And then the one that did fit was a headphone jack, which obviously didn't put up pictures. We're fucked.
It's a sad time.
We could hear the wee, but we couldn't see it.
You should just brought down your laptop and just plugged it in that way.
I don't think the laptop has a SCART cable either.
Aye, fucking 2004 laptop, you know.
Fucking whap out the PC.
What about New Year's then? Obviously coming around. Have you got any plans for that then?
Isolate.
It's sitting in the house.
Isolate.
You never know. You might be clear by then.
No, you won't.
No, you can't be. I need to isolate for 10 days.
I thought you didn't get it. I thought you were clear.
I'm negative, but it's in my household.
Ah, right.
So I need to isolate for 10 days. So we're taking in the Bells as a day every other year with a fucking dram. My mum and dad. Yes, I.
Fair enough. I'm free on New Year's Eve. That is my freedom date. So I am getting fucked. So,
where you know, Christmas. Everywhere's shut, so where do you plan on going?
Well, I mean, it'll be a reduced one, but I'm just going to float round to the flat. So, like, 6 of us, I think, are coming round, providing obviously they all test negative as well.
You're going to be the guy at the door sitting down COVID test?
Aye, I'm going to fucking shove a stick up the nose. It's not even a fucking COVID test. I'm just fucking shoving sticks up the nose.
You take flyers if you want to go, show your lateral flow.
Is that what you put on the party invites?
Aye.
I mean, I'm hoping it'll still go ahead. Like, obviously, it's entirely dependent if I'm well and I test negative by that point. But, you know, I'm hoping to at least do something. Because obviously last year I done it over Zoom, which was fine, but it was a wee bit shite.
I was asleep for it last year.
You were asleep for it?
Last year. Not going to probably get into it much this year either. Probably just going to... See, I'm not a kind of person that cares about New Year. Like, it's just, I have no difference. I don't know, it's quite a superstitious kind of thing, the whole idea of New Year, other than for an excuse to go out and, like, have a laugh with COVID and that. There's no real reason to get it.
Like, that's the way I like to look at it, though, because obviously, like, because most of my mates have now left Stirling, it's that way of, like, most of them are still back in Stirling for, like, the Christmas period at that point, so it's like a way to spend a bit of time together.
That makes sense, but like, see how the whole idea of like people are superstitious, New Year, like it's going to be in this, start as you want to go on, all that stuff. I just don't care. It's just another day, really.
So what's your New Year's resolutions then, Dylan?
Get more superstitious.
Fair enough. Right. Now that the festivities have been ruined, onto the quality and shite one, which Dylan has yet to experience yet somehow.
For good reason.
Is it? I mean, I know you've said you've not seen many of the episodes, Dylan, but have you got any that you want to complain about? Seeing as most people do now. What? KFC?
KFC.
Well, it should be lower, yeah.
It should be higher, and bars is way too high.
Nah, see, this is Jimmy, you're right. Why did we invite him back? Right. For those that haven't seen it before, obviously normally we'd be doing this in person, got a lovely bones stuff, but this time it's audio or sitting here watching us argue about it. But what we're going to do is we're going to pick out some like different topics, and then we have to basically decide if they're shite or quality. The further down shite they are, the more shit they are. The higher up in quality they are, the more quality they are. Simples, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell when to stop.
Stop.
Sky Sports.
Woo!
Oh, that's pretty.
The fucking pinnacle of sports.
The BT app is better. Sky is a bump.
Sky is very expensive, to be fair.
I'd honestly put them in shite compared to like. There's so many other ways of streaming.
Just to put it in a perspective for you, then, right, Dylan? Know you because you don't watch as much sports, right? But right, Liam, do you watch the darts World Championships?
Darts, I don't know.
Do you watch what other sports other than football?
I'll put on the golf. I'll put on the F1. I'll put on
snooker?
not snooker.
All of which are on Sky Sports.
Yeah, nah.
So for the service of Sky Sports, then, right?
Yeah.
Alone, how much would you pay for that service?
Like, I genuinely, because you're very kindly let me borrow your service at the moment. So
Yeah.
honestly, I can't remember how much it's meant to cost. I think it would be fair for maybe 20 quid a month.
Aye,
And even then, that's
now
still
TV
expensive.
charge around 40.
Or just Sky Sports?
Does that include like all the sports channels?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. About 20 quid probably.
Right, okay. So for just Sky Sports, you'd be paying about 20 quid a month for.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that's probably fair enough.
That's how much Sky Sports is.
Right, okay. So it's expensive, but it's around what I thought it would be.
Aye. I pay 45 quid a month to Sky, but I get obviously more than just the sports. That I don't think it's a bump anymore. I used to truly believe it was a bump, but I genuinely don't think it is.
Is it just because they've got so many exclusive rights now?
There's so much. Like,
It depends on where you sit though, because a UFC fan would always say that BT's like. I don't think either like any of us are like the kind of people that are setting up.
Well, you're right in what you say there, but
It's very sport dependent, and for you, Sky just makes sense. Like if you cared about the UFC, it was your top sport after football. You would it annoy you need to pay for BT and Sky separately.
I would say nowadays, like
BT Sports isn't worth 20 quid a month.
But they don't charge 20 quid a month for it either. So
what I would say though is now for like Sky, like see if you're only going into it now for football, like a lot of people used to, because obviously they were the first one to get like the prem rights and stuff. It's not really worth it in that sense anymore. Like, yeah, if you get the occasional Scotland game and you get a lot of the big prem games, which is still good, but you see year in, year out, they like keep losing like matches to like
More and more
BT, Premier Sports, fucking
Amazon.
US, BT, Amazon, yeah. So like back in the day, definitely if you're just wanting it for the football, then it would be worth it. But nowadays, if it's only for football, I don't think it's worth it.
I would
Yeah,
hate to watch a Scotland game.
I'd say then I'd be neutral on it because I get your argument. I just don't have any.
Well, where would you? Because I'm actually easily swayed about this because there are a lot of goods and a lot of bads about it. The commentary on it's pretty good as well. Like you have to take that into account. Like it's
Carragher and Neville are quite good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's actually like a premier service in a sense where like you get the best cameras, the best in-depth chat. You got all that sort of stuff as well.
Oh,
I don't know. I feel like BT do that better.
Say that again.
Gillette Super Saturday scoreboard. That's what I'm saying. Enough said.
Where are
But
you putting it then?
Jess Taylor, Kamara, a lot of them, top tier.
I know, but it's going to be weird though next year with them gone.
Yeah, and that's probably a big negative against him because they didn't sack him, but everyone that he was like pals with and all that slowly got sacked. And it's like he was going into work before, and like that kind of job, you need to have motivation and reason to go in. Like he was going into people that he barely knew now. Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody's got relationships. It's like a different generation. They didn't keep him there in really that he could kind of interact with, because half of being a pundit is just the general chit chat of it. And when you don't really have people that you want to talk to, it's the job is like redundant.
For me, it's just inequality because it is an expensive premium service, but it's the best though. It's better than BT, it's better than Premier Sports, and it's better than Amazon.
Okay. I'll back you on it. It's just in quality then. Right.
BT app's much better though.
Oh, so the BT enhanced players.
Only
so
on your phone. Only on your phone.
BT enhanced players so good. For the tablet, I use it on my tablet, and it's really good.
It's like phone and tablet. That's fine.
Mhm.
But like actual just casting the telly,
it's just how you do it. Like it's normal.
Nothing special.
Jamie, tell me to stop.
Stop.
Airbnb.
Never used it.
Airbnb.
Wait, did we rate that last one?
Yeah, I said like quality.
All right.
Like just the start of quality.
Yeah. Airbnb.
We booked our whole France trip on Airbnb.
How was it in terms of a service?
Terrible. Worst service he's ever used to.
It's banging. We got a banging wee villa. They done all the flights and shit.
Oh, did they as well? I thought they only done like places. I didn't realise they done flights as well.
You pay for the premium part of the service and you get like they recommend the flights for you as well. We don't offer that, and it was good. I wouldn't say it was like dead cheap because I don't know how much it was, but
I feel like with something like that, you're always going to pay more. You're always going to be paying over the odds, but it's just a convenience.
Yeah. The only thing I would say about them that the problem is that I've heard like obviously the horror stories of they don't really do like background checks on like who's the homes that they lend out. So like the homes might be absolute death traps, or like the kids like put cameras in and watch it and all that shit.
Cameras.
But I'm going to guess that's far less often than as it's
the cameras thing. The cameras thing is actually really common, but it's not to be a pedo. It's literally just a.
No, but it depends where it's like placed. If it's placed in the bedroom or like in the bathroom, then but
no, but like the way that cameras should be set up is in communal areas. You know what I mean? Like in a hall, in the back, like pointing to the back and front door. No, I don't even think in a living room you should have a camera. But like,
if I want to walk out my bollocks in the villa I pay for 2 weeks, I should be able to if it gets spiders.
See, but if it's disclosed, then it's a completely different situation to like hidden cameras and alarm clocks. Which
like if they say to you, by the way, there's cameras and you know what you're getting into, fair enough. But you can't just expect to like what I put cameras and constantly happy about it.
Well, for me, if you're going to use a service, Hotel Trivago, what a service.
Hotel. Is this a sponsorship you didn't tell me about?
Nah, I want it. I want the sponsorship. Henceforth, that's what I'm saying. Hotel Trivago.
It's the advert, so it's interesting.
The ad's good as well.
Have you ever used Airbnb, Dom?
No, never. I'm on the same kind of lines as you, though, where it's like it is. You do hear those kind of stories, and that's my main exposure to it.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say is, like, before COVID and that struck, I was going to go on a holiday last year with all my college mates, and, like, we booked it through Airbnb, and it was actually really fucking easy. Like, so I've never booked a holiday before in my life. Like, as someone that's never done it before that was organising it, they did make it quite easy, to be fair. And, like, it was quite a simple process.
Did you need to get your money back?
Yeah, no, they gave me the money back.
Were they fine?
Yeah, no, like I literally like said, like, because we cancelled it, I think, because it said you can cancel up to 24 hours before. Like when I cancelled it, like I cancelled it for about a week to go, and the money was in my account like within an hour. So like, it was good in that sense. An hour. But yeah, I think it fills a gap. I think the problems are there, but I think it's probably just in quality.
Although most random thing ever. I helped a customer once who was struggling to use the actual Airbnb host app, but I don't know if that's a common thing. But I know you do see that quite a bit, where like stuff like the user interface is good, but then like as a person trying to use it, you can have issues. I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say here. Like as the person who owns the place you're trying to rent
Yeah,
out,
like so you have to
it
make
can be
changes.
problematic. But that's also off the word like a 70-year-old woman. So I don't know. I don't know if
You
I
never
can
know.
really
She might
trust
be
her.
very. How was she with her phone? Was she very tech savvy?
Oh
or not?
well, the main thing was that she didn't have enough storage on her phone to support it. So like, she was not tech savvy at all. But
I'm willing to back Airbnb on this one.
it's just the only experience I've really had.
Are we agreed then? Just the quality,
Mm-hmm.
Right,
They're
that's
very,
it.
very bottom.
right? Roller coasters.
No
Oh,
way.
I'd put them in shite just for the fact that you wait. See how any good roller coaster you're waiting for at least an hour, sometimes two,
And now
for an experience that lasts for about 40 seconds.
Yeah, I've been on them, Jamie.
nah, I don't
He's
plan
too
with it.
small. Are you not too small as well, Liam?
Fuck up.
No, then there's a too small, you fucking gimp shot.
I've been on the Tower of Terror, mate.
No, sorry, I
you're
didn't realise. Didn't realise we were
I'm a
experienced
raucous
roller coaster.
individual. Nah, I mean, I'll be totally honest. Anything that goes upside down, I ain't about that. I'm not going to try that. But anything that's
It's
like up
honestly the
high or
wait.
as fast, I can deal with.
It's the
I've
wait
heard-
times that bother me more than anything.
I've heard you get the same adrenaline rush with a tiny wee tattoo. I feel like that's so much more safe.
I know, but also you've got a
Really?
limited amount of tattoos, whereas you can go for as many
I
roller
also
coasters
think
as
a
you
roller
want.
coaster's probably going to be more safe because the kids
See-
will like make sure that it's fucking going to handle 80 folk riding it at once.
See,
Nah.
I would prefer a
M&D.
water park than a.
Yeah, but that's M&D's. The fucking the
Doesn't matter.
shit is the fucking. I know. Do you know what? As well, speaking of M&D's, I totally remember. Right, so see when we were in first year, yeah, we had to do like a project in computing where like because you remember like in our school, Jamie, how we'd done like the trip days away, like in first to third year. So like right. So we used to do basically these trips like once every year where like you get to pick somewhere to go, and then like the school take you there as like a big group. And one of ours was to go to M&D's. So like, we had to like make a project saying basically arselock and M&D saying how great it was. And they just had a new ride that came out. So we're like, oh, look at this ride, it's incredible sort of thing. A week later, a lassie got lost her leg on that ride when it collapsed.
I was going to say, I thought I remembered something like that happening when they brought
yeah.
in the new ride.
Yeah, I think she won like £1 million off of them as well.
You say one, she got given £1 million. There's no winning.
I genuinely think I seem to remember something like M&D's tried to fight it in court.
But that's the thing, though. There's no winning when you've lost a leg. That's
There you go. Risk.
the only way is up when you've lost a leg.
How much would you have to? How much to lose a leg, Dylan? How much money?
See, I'm normally so much on the camp where if you talk about a lot of money, like if you say 50, like to do like receive a third degree burn, if I was to offer you $5,000 right now, you would probably do it if I actually had the $5,000 to
Not a
hand
fucking
you.
third degree burn. Are you fucking mental?
Liam, think about what you could do with that $5,000 if I literally handed it to you in this exact moment.
Jamie,
But losing a leg is one of those, like
Jamie,
anything like that.
He didn't see the episode that we done where we had the the money engaged. That's what I say. Me and Jamie were going well higher for a lot of these. Jamie said 50 million to never go to Ibrox again. How much do you think it'll take for a third degree burn?
Like that's see how it's such a
What's
weird
your
mindset
figure?
though.
Like,
To lose my leg is the only like any real body modification is your like kind of limit. Like you're easily talking at least 50 million to like because it's more the idea like
if it's $5,000 for a third degree burn, 50 mil for a leg loss.
because a third degree burn heals.
You're
I'm not
no,
reptile, I'm not growing my leg back.
no, a third degree burns will leave fucking scars and permanent
It'll
damage.
heal, it'll heal though.
Not necessarily. It can get infected and shit.
Liam, the
You
idea
get a metal
of getting
leg. Could be like
Well,
Winston.
the idea of getting a third-degree burn, I would be going to a hospital straight away. It's like saying lose a leg. If you lose a leg, there's probably
You're
a
telling
50%
me
chance
for
of death.
$5,000 you take a third-degree burn?
I probably would.
Oh
That's what I'm
shit!
saying, though.
Oh,
But
shit.
right
If
now,
I have the
right-
knife in front of you ready to give it to you, you'd be like, no,
no,
absolutely not.
that's the thing. Like you're saying that, I could so easily like I just. Right in this moment, I could easily say no, I wouldn't. But if I was to hand you $5,000, I'd be like, sure.
I wouldn't fucking take it, Dylan. I'm
I
telling you
reckon
right now.
you would. I reckon you would.
Jamie, you're backing me on this, surely. You're not taking $5,000 for a third-degree burn, are you?
I wouldn't take $5,000 for a 5-degree burn. 3rd-degree burn.
No, but that's the thing, though. I'd also push the money off as high as possible. I would be that kind of person, but it wouldn't take a lot.
It
So
would
don't-
It would
so
take
cut
a
this
lot.
bit out,
It would take
cut-
me a
cut this-
fucking lot to get a third-degree burn.
If
Cut
you
this bit
said
out
to me,
the podcast,
I'm
so-
gonna do a 3rd-degree burn on your thigh, and I'll give you 100k. I'd maybe consider it.
No, I've
Maybe
seen
consider it.
Francis. Like Francis got a third-degree burn. Is like he was literally fucked for 6 months. He couldn't do any activities or anything. He just had to like fucking
So you got
change
6 months
bandages
off
every
work as
day.
well.
No, he still had to go to. He still had to go to work and paid fucking hobbling about like a fanny at 21. No, I've seen what that shit does to people. Absolutely no chance.
I'm so serious. Like, see how it's very dependent on where it is as well, because like, but like
Okay, where would you take it for $5,000? Where would we have to do it for you to take
left
$5,000?
arm on your left arm, because
You're
you've got your
so
right
daft.
arm to ease
You're
it.
so daft.
No, like right there, left arm, easiest place to. If you like, if it was on your right arm, then you've got all the issues of you're needing to get used to using your left hand.
Well, I respect the fact you're trying to do this properly and not say like some stupid astronomical number, but in the same regard as well, that's far too low.
Like then, if you're talking about a leg, it's at least 15 to 20, because that's you like know what to walk. On your foot, that would be a lot. It'd take a lot to do it on your foot, because your foot and your hands are one of those places where if you mess them up, if you mess them up, you're messed up. It's the same with your face. Like how much for an acid burn to the face?
No money.
That's the kind of way I'm like. No money could make up for that kind of stuff. It's the same with people.
There's literally no money on this earth that would make me take that. Jamie's like 10 quid. The fuck is? What are you eating?
Just the acid.
Ah, right.
I'd do it for the buzz.
You do it for the
Same.
buzz.
Honestly, actually, I didn't think it like that.
We night out in food bar. Just
How
get
much?
acid
How much
thrown
for
in your
Mo
face
Salah to
after.
pour acid over your face? Liam?
Oh, $5.
You get a picture before and after with them.
Oh, that's good. I look like one of those folk that goes to visit in the hospital.
The picture of the wee guy who got a buzzed up nose.
Oh yeah, when he was chasing his car down, that was
he
the
was
funniest
chasing the car,
fucking thing.
and it was like, like people were. Oh, that picture was so funny. Mo Salah buttered the wee kid and took a picture of him as well.
I respect it. Aye, so we're putting off coasters in.
Just shite.
Like far down or part of it?
I'd say middle or shite, because shite is like the worst kind of stuff. Is there's definitely a lot worse than roller coasters, but it's not a good experience.
Fair enough. Right. Escape rooms. Have you
Never
ever done them?
Nah, I've never been.
I've never done one. I'd be up for doing one, but
I enjoyed mine, but that was because I was pretty drunk and I was just watching everyone else do it.
I know I was going to say, don't strike me as the kind of person that'd be able to.
Honestly, right, so like there's one in Stirling, and like, see the first 10 minutes, right, I banged it, I solved about 3 clues, I was feeling on top of the world, and then we went to the second part of the room to like complete the next set of tasks. Mate, I was just fucking clueless. I was just sitting there with like glass-eyed, like, I don't know what to do.
I honestly think Stirling is like just a massive escape room, and the only way out is a train station and a motorway. Like Stirling itself is just a big, massive get out of here kind of town.
It's the greatest city on earth.
So escape rooms, it's a good concept. How much does it cost for use?
I can't remember how much. Well, I think it was like a tenner per person.
See, that's a good thing. When you go with a lot of people, you're not paying too much, but I know a lot of them can cost quite a bit of money for like really good ones. It's a good movie if you've ever seen it, Escape Room.
I haven't.
The only room that I think I'd enjoy is that fucking raid room And you just smash up shit.
Oh, that'd be
Which one?
so fun to fucking do.
Yeah.
There's
Just
one in
imagine-
Glasgow, isn't there?
Aye, there's one in Glasgow. I just get pictures of Liam and just put them on paper plates and just no paper plates,
Paper
normal
plates.
plate.
He's fucking
Honestly,
throwing
paper
paper
plates
plates
and gas-
against walls.
paper plates and gasoline.
Smash for William. Nah, but a skater, I've never done it. I'd do one though, aye.
I think us three should do one just because it would be go fucking horrifically and it would be funny.
No, fuck that fucking stuff.
The annoying thing about escape rooms is that
No,
you're
no,
not allowed
it's not
to.
one. We'll do a different one.
The annoying thing about escape rooms is the fact that you're not allowed to record all that, and I fully get it 'cause it ruins it for the next set of people. But it's good. It'd be good to like document it.
I think see when we done it, because they like watch on the cameras again, Airbnb dodging, but they said like they were telling us like what we'd done wrong and like how we could have done it differently, sort of thing. So it's good from that point of view.
No, but I mean, like you can't document it for yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I think like as well, it's so much more shit when you do it with more people. Like we done it with
I was
six
gonna say.
folk, and like it was just honestly a clusterfuck of like folk trying to do things, and I didn't understand it. I could be much better for like 3 or 4 people max.
How long did you have?
Yeah, was it an hour? I think it was an hour to do it.
No.
An hour? Yeah, I'd say I pretty enjoyed them. I think they'd be a nice wee. It's like those things you do like once occasionally sort of thing. And it'd be like a good laugh to do it then. I'll probably play
Define an
just.
occasion.
no,
Occasionally.
we done
You
it
were
for-
about to say once a year.
I was going to say once a year, and I stopped myself because I realised that'd be wrong. No, we done it for like someone's leaving night at work. You could do it for a birthday party, you know, all them sort of deals.
You finally find the room that's got a big cake in it.
That's that game. If you didn't get it, you didn't get to celebrate. Your
You
birthday.
don't, everybody else gets it, but you don't
Yeah,
get
I know,
it.
yeah, you're stuck.
I would be up for doing an escape room the three. Maybe even bring along one other person just to boost the IQ of the room.
You could have been that would
Mark-
boost it that much. Right.
Zach, I'll bring Zach.
Right. I'm saying just in quality. What about you two?
I'd say quality because I've not done it and I like the idea of it. I'd say quality.
Jamie.
I'm fine with that.
Right.
Stop.
Oh, that's a controversial one. Drinks with ice in them.
Jamie loves drinks with ice in them. I hate them. So I'd say the bottom of shite because how
I love
like,
my drink to have
infected-
ice in it.
no, but like it depends on the kind of ice that you're talking about. Because see how there's more bacteria in an ice machine than there is in your toilet seat in your toilet right now, unless you've no flushed.
Aye.
I
So-
think even if you hadn't flushed, there's still more bacteria in the ice.
I didn't say I was
Maggots are regularly found in ice and all that.
And
You're a
tastes
boring,
good.
honestly. For me, ice is shite. It waters in your drink. It's right at the bottom. Simple as.
Oh yeah, I forget you fucking get like. the
I know.
ice and
I was
everything.
I was surprised you didn't clock into that scenario. You actually went along with what I was saying.
You forget it's been a while since I've been anywhere with them.
Aye, it's proper bottom shite. Like,
And
it's,
I've written acid as well on top of it, but
nah,
you're quite simple about it.
who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck if it's
You know, like having a colder drink though.
Nah.
Just put it in the fridge or freezer beforehand.
I mean, you didn't get that option if you're out somewhere.
Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go out that's going to keep the fucking... The draft machines are called anyway.
No, that's cold.
You're full of shite. It's bottom of shite.
Or when you get given a drink with no straw with ice, it's terrible.
Okay, fine, I can see I'm being out of the mood here, so we'll go for that. Right, you want to keep going then since this is the last one this year?
Yep.
Was that
make
5
it
already?
special. Yeah.
One more.
We'll keep going. We'll make this a
One for
special.
each is.
Right. This is something that we all do here pretty regularly. Ice skating.
I would put that below ice because that's literally using ice.
Aye, that's pure
Have you been
bacteria.
ice skating before?
Aye, but it wasn't an enjoyable experience. And
I went when I was in Bern and I was so scared of falling over. I spent like nearly the entire hour just holding on to the side.
I
because
don't mind falling over, but I've seen a lot of like terrible hockey accidents, man, and like ice hockey where like people like lose fingers quite a lot. But like the worst ones is faces that get cut because you're talking like some of the sharpest razor blades that you can get are on your feet. If you slip, you think you slip on your back, there's knives literally flying in there. And like obviously they're strapped down, but if you slip right up, you go right backwards, your feet are in there. Somebody's standing like within a meter distance of you, you could easily slit their throat, which has happened quite a lot. Like in the hockey, what's it, NHL? Is that what it's called? National Hockey League. That stuff's happened in NHL. Like very rarely in football will you ever see them. They use sponges to clean up blood, but if you search it up, you can easily see it for NHL, which is just. It's just I would never want to do it.
Thought about because like they always like scrap and shit in hockey. Yeah, I come there like you never see like the ice rink like covered in blood and shit. Like
because they use sponges. It's only ever really happened. The only time I know of it in football was when somebody went to put their foot in for a ball when two of the opposition players at either side crunched him and broke his kneecap in two different places, and his leg literally just about fell off in the middle of the pitch, and they had to get massive sponges just to clean the pitch. But like in NFL, they use the sponges quite a lot. NHL.
Like I'm sure it might be an enjoyable experience if I went back.
I'd honestly prefer a rollerblade if I was to go for that experience for that reason alone. Like you can go to places where you can just rollerblade, and the only reason I would is because of the idea. If I wanted that experience, I wouldn't want the chance of getting cut. Like the stuff that people can do is really good. Don't get me wrong.
What about you, Jamie? Would you go it?
Nah, push. And I definitely cunt it umpteen times, so.
Insightful.
Aye.
Okay, we all seem pretty badly shite then.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
Okay.
I'd honestly say the worst thing you've said today, though. Just for the fact of like losing your life. That's the only thing that you could really die through.
Something that we actually have all played together. Foot golf.
All right.
That was fun.
Good for like the first six. After the first six, it was pretty. No, it was 18 we played. Was it 9 or 18 we played?
18.
Oh, if we played 18, then it was good for like the first 12. I remember like 2/3 of the way through going like, all right, this is just a bit long now.
You were just that was because you were doing shit. You were just trying to sabotage.
I was top on hole 4 or something like that after hole 4 because I got so lucky with like just reaching over a tree that nobody else managed to get over. Then after that, it was downhill for there.
I should have won that day.
Oh yeah, you fucked on the last hole. I forgot about that.
I know I didn't fuck it now, so we had to pull off a miracle. I'm pretty sure to win it.
No, they won a fucking you and hit about a 900-yard hole in one.
No,
that was something else, by the way. That was hole 2 as well. They can't just literally got a hole in one as well.
But it's fucking an unreal shot.
You hit the easiest hole in one, but everybody else tried it and it didn't look easy. But when you look at the other holes, some of them were mental. Like
it was probably the only hole you could hole in one properly.
Easily. But
it's
just the fact that he done it. He was the only one to have done it. Every other one was massive. Although I remember when we were, we saw the group of guys beside us, and they punted it for missions away, and he got in. He was celebrating in the distance.
Oh, was that guy that Rabona did?
It was a Rabona hole in one that he got for like distance.
No, you never seen that? It was me and
I didn't see it. I was away for that.
It was me and Sam, I think, that seen it, and I just seen the cunt step up and Rabona, and then next thing you know, they were all running about celebrating as it went in.
Aye, that's the kind of stuff for like. That's what dreams are made of. You know what I mean? He went home a champion that night. I'd rate it highly. I was just on the day. It was really warm, and
it was so hot. I made such a mistake not taking water with me for doing that.
That's what I thought. If I'm to do that again as well, we need to bring. Obviously, the guy that we went with, I can't remember his name. He actually had a bag that we probably should have just used.
Oliver,
he actually had his bag with him.
Yeah, I know, because I was like, I don't want to just chuck stuff in his back. It's a bit of a dick move. I'm like, we'll get through this fine. Forget it's like a 3-hour mission to get around this.
It was a long walk, but it was see towards the end as well.
But
It was really good. I just remember having a sore, like my groin was kind of sore afterwards.
The only bad thing that happened to me was the very first time I went and done it without you lot. We done it on Christmas Eve last year. And I went like for a shot because I was going to my dad's afterwards. So I was just like in jeans and like t-shirt and stuff because like we were going for Christmas at his afterwards. I absolutely cunted it and fell in like the mud and absolutely caked my jeans in mud. So then I had to like leave early just to go and get like fucking a change of clothes and shit.
I'd definitely be up for doing it again though.
No, we definitely should, either if it's like, you know, my birthday again or if just randomly one weekend.
Mini golf as well. I think mini golf and foot golf are two, like, as long as it's not regular golf, I'm shite at regular golf. Anything else?
Well, I mean, foot golf's the closest to regular golf anyway.
Aye.
Right. Okay, so I'm saying quite high in quality.
I say quite high in quality. It was good.
It's cheap as like it's expensive like overall, but like it's actually pretty cheap. Like
it was
overall.
6 people. We paid how much? Like
it was like 70 quid or something like that.
70 quid. 6 people for 70 quid is cheap when you think a day out. I still don't think I gave you the money, Jamie, but
I paid it.
I mean, I paid it back. I know you and Oliver paid you back as well.
I paid them back as well.
So
Jamie owed me 40 quid.
Guess what, Dylan?
It took him about a week to pay it up.
Guess what, Dylan? It means next year, you're paying for it.
Good luck.
Right. What number was that?
That was
7.
Yeah.
You've done 7 though.
Number 8.
See, I would if it was just books and you could use audiobooks, I'd rate it quite highly. But if it's
like reading as a whole, so I'm not going to count audiobooks.
Aye, because if it's reading, then I wouldn't rate it too high. I read quite a bit on my phone, but I don't read a book at all. So,
like, see, I'm torn here, right? Because being dyslexic, I find it hard as fuck to read. It takes me so long, and I fucking hate it. But I also get at the same time it's not actually shite. I also understand it's really good for you. You know, you learn a lot of things through it. You improve, like, you know, like every sort of skill possible from doing reading. It's just that I hate it so fucking much.
You're not getting better at football when you read.
I can read tactics, read a Pep Guardiola book.
If you're reading a Pep Guardiola book, then you're not getting any smarter.
Like that's it. I don't want to put it in shite because it's just my own fault that I would be putting it in shite. But I also can't say it's great.
I went and read a full Harry Potter book like at the start of last year, and
they're quite long as well, aren't they?
It was one of the first ones that were easy going. But what I would tend to do is I'd literally read it, then I'd listen to the audiobook afterwards because like so much it goes over my head. Like whenever I try to read it, it's like I'm just so bad for like I don't know if you know what I mean. Definitely. When you go,
what did you say?
Dylan's not got enough attention span for a book.
But an audiobook, I'm really bad for doing a few things at a time. Earlier on today, I was watching something on my. I've got 3 monitors in front of me. Was watching something up there, playing Pokemon here, and had Rocket League on there in the background. So I was playing Rocket League between goals and stuff like that. I'm just sitting grinding on Pokemon whilst having a TV show, and like I just do keep a lot of stuff going to keep my brain like occupied, and like sitting reading a book. When I'd sit down to read it, I would do it at night before I go to sleep for like half an hour, and it helped me sleep. But it's
like that's what most people do as well, isn't it? It's usually before bed.
We're reading lights and stuff.
What about you, Jamie? Do you ever read?
What? No chance. No.
Does it just not interest you at all then?
Just not got the patience for it.
I think you and me are quite similar in that regard. I said no, like so where we put it, because I tend to just to put it like bang on the middle, because it's more my own fault that it's shite. It's more my own fault that I feel it's shite.
The knowledge that you can get from books is literally unbelievable.
What you saying, Jamie?
No, I'll happily sit in the middle.
Reading is one of the most like, even the cavemen technically done reading, although it was just pictures, like that was there, you know what I mean? You would
You saying I'm worse than a caveman, though?
No, I'm saying you're well worse than a caveman. No, I mean, like it's like the oldest form of like history is like looking at something. You see old rocks and stuff that are found with scriptures in them. like everything starts back from reading, like the original Bible, the Declaration of Independence, everything that's like historic of the last like 1,000 years is reading. It's just in very recent time we've had it as like a digital form.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's why I don't want to say it's particular shite, but hey ho. Right. Candles. Where do we stand on them?
Misha's big into candles. I'm quite neutral on them.
I fucking hate them just because of the horror. Because my dad's a fireman, I've heard the fucking horror stories of candles. He's always just been like, "You never fucking have candles." It's how like 90% of house fires get started. It's the candles.
Incompetence to maintain a candle.
Oh yeah, no, obviously that's why as well. But it's just like it's like
I mean,
cunts, you know,
he
put in a
clearly
candle, forget about it, go to bed, boom, the kitchen.
He clearly thinks that you're incompetent.
Nah,
I don't blame him.
I'm impartial. I feel like it's more of a female thing, right enough. But like, I didn't really have candles in the house. My mom has some, and then whenever I was at Taylor, she puts like a candle on to put melts on, and they always smell nice. So it's good for that. But
Whenever she does a big shite, just
to smell it. So other than that, nah, like I wouldn't personally use a candle.
Right.
But I'm not opposed to the idea.
I'd say I'm neutral on them.
I'd say they're good because they can make your house smell nice.
Yeah, that's what
I mean, you can get air freshener for that.
But they're also
the
bad
candles
for
always smell better though.
No, see how for making your house smell nice, hot water and lemons is quite like there's a lot of like citrus, like fruit and stuff like that is a really easy way to make your house smell nice if you just mix it with hot water.
So
So
just
like,
whap some lemons in the kettle.
no, like, I'm not even kidding on. Like a bowl of, get a cup of hot water and put lemons in it, and it will freshen up a room and like very quickly compared to it almost any other way because it's like just naturally fresh.
Maybe get a try at one point.
There's a reason I'm telling you. Just
I say they're just
before New Year.
What'd you say?
Just in quality.
Yeah, nah, that's fine. Right, last year.
You're right.
Oh, again, that's something that we all do all the time. Surfing.
I hate it. For fucking,
Can we re-roll, Liam? Can we re-roll? I hate it for the fact that it showed up when I wanted something good.
Nah, it's
Pure-
too late.
You're
It's
fucking American suffer the bullshit, man.
Chad,
Yeah,
Chad, I'm just not a big
I
fan.
reckon a Chad would go surfing.
And also the shark injuries that you get. Guy that works in Sports Direct got bit. He's like bit by a shark when he was
What?
surfing in
What?
Australia. That's right, Jamie, isn't it? Is that what?
I don't know who told you that, Jazz.
No, but I actually talked to the guy. Like he got his leg bit by a shark.
What?
You
Fully cleaned off, or?
No, like it's just see how all the muscle on his calf it's gone,
Nice.
and he
That's
walks
it.
about with shorts as well, which is the weirdest choice
That just shows that he's no fear of it, you know.
I'm just saying, I don't think he's going to Australia to go surfing again anytime soon.
Aye, but that's fucking Australia surfing. If you go surfing in like Cornwall or some shit, you're not gonna get eaten by a shark.
If you go surfing in Cornwall, you're a weirdo that goes surfing in Cornwall.
That is also true, yeah. You have to
If
take.
you're
Would you rather
going
get
surfing-
bit by a shark or be a weirdo? That's the ultimate question.
No, but if you're going to go surfing, you'd want to go into like really nice tropical places.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Like,
Jersey.
Have you ever seen Surfs Up? Like I can't remember the exact details, but there's a beach that they're on that's based on real life, and it's quite popular for surfing because it's like coves and stuff like that are really popular for surfing because not a lot of fish will tend to come into a cove. Well, small fish will, but not a lot of predators will, and the waves are really controlled. It's just a lot safer for surfing in coves and stuff like that. But any serious surfers always do it in hectic conditions.
See, like when I was in Jersey, they were fucking shocked that there isn't like a surfing culture in Scotland during the summer. Like everyone in the office was kind of like, "Oh, so like, what do you do during the summer then if you're not out surfing?" I'd be like,
Yeah,
"I
mad
don't know, go to the pub." like I think you forget it's like still like 10 degrees, and also I don't live near the sea, so why would I make the fucking effort to go and fucking surf somewhere in the freezing cold
Loch
water?
Lomond.
Yeah, aye, that's one way to look around it. So like you can either get hypothermia from doing it or you'll get bitten by a shark. Either of those two don't sound very appealing.
If I was to go out to water like that, I'd much prefer to fish than surf. That's the way I see it. Like as a pastime, it'd be much better, and you'd have a much better time going at those kind of places to fish than you would to surf.
I'd rather just take a ball out in the sea and just kick it away, you know, or throw it about.
Yeah, you think you're kicking a ball when you're underwater.
That's cool.
The whole other issue. I can see why you're not allowed to play with candles.
Right. I'm saying quite far down in shite. Are you in agreement with me?
Aye. I'd say, what's the lowest thing?
You fucking rock bottom.
Well, I would. Do you want to know what the lowest thing is?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jamie, Connor didn't watch the last episode. Should I even bother telling him? Nah, I'll tell you. It's fucking Rubik's cubes.
Wow.
Listen, I'm sorry. It was only because you're coming on this week that we done it. What the fuck is that, man? For audio listeners, Dylan's just whacked a fucking 48-sided Rubik's cube.
It's a hexagonal Rubik's cube.
And that's precisely why it was bottom.
No, it's a pentagon Rubik's cube. Pentagonal.
No, I'm glad we've learned that. To be fair though, wasn't as much arguments as I expected with this that normally happens.
No,
I wish I was on last week, is what I'll tell you.
Was it?
If I was on last week, Rubik's cube would be the top of top.
No, I mean, you don't get to decide that. It's a majority.
Oh, no.
It's a democracy.
It's a majority decision, but I would sway the majority.
How would you consider the majority as me and Jamie?
Death threats.
I'm no fear of you, but
I'll give you more COVID.
Good. Fucking, I want to feel sun. Right. Anyway, moving on from that now. Now, long-time listeners or viewers might remember a while back we done a tier list episode rating all the previous sort of guests that we've had. We've done that about March time-ish. So providing everything works now, we're going to do the same again for the tier list, but with the current guests we've had since then. So hopefully, like I said, this will work, but we'll find out.
I think maybe you've got two options with this. You either update it every week that you do a solo podcast, or that every year. So
no, we do
I think
every
it's
year.
going to be year now.
Yeah, can you see that all right? Aye.
Unfortunately.
Fuck you. Right. Wait, hold on. Why isn't this working for me now? Bear with us while we have technical difficulties. Right, there we go. Okay. So when we done it last time, just to give a quick rundown of those that maybe haven't seen it before, just so you know. So we've got 4 categories: elite, decent, okay, could be improved on. These aren't in particular order, but we've got the elite category: Ewan, Alba, Angus, Aidan, and Dylan. We've also then got Francis, Struan, Ewan B, Connor, Megan, Ben, Rachel, and James, and decent. Okay, we've got Craig, Neil, Bradley, Lewis, James, Graham, Ben, Keelan, Joe, and Fergus. And finally, and could be improved upon, Lauren, Mark, Ben, and Duncan. So these aren't. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
There's a petition to get Bradley knocked down one.
I mean, all right.
Petition went through.
Petition went through.
Thank you.
Even though it was you that wanted it there. You originally wanted him indecent, I'm just going to say, but all right.
Nah, I don't know.
The situation has changed.
Right, I've used both as well, got fucking like the channel open up so you can see if you're.
I have the channel open, but what I will say is, I don't know.
But you're the third host still. You should have seen every single one of these.
I've only seen every one that I'm not in, but the other way around.
First one's Lee Ingles, big Rangers and Manchester City fan. Talked about
Lee
the joys
Ingles?
of yes. Talked about the joys of basically being in COVID, because that was when most of these were filmed. Jamie, what are you saying for that? I think straight away, I think it was an alright podcast. Like okay, I should say, I suppose.
I think it could have been improved upon. I was there.
I can see a theme coming if that's what you're going to think about it.
I'm not going to lie, I can't mind it.
For that reason alone, then I think it goes in okay.
Nah, I think because he's a Man City fan, it could be approved upon.
He's
No,
a
but I
Rangers
feel
fan
unless
as well.
something sticks out in your mind as what it was bad.
Nah, I can vaguely remember it.
Right.
Just because
Next
Okay,
one,
I just need to see
Cammy.
setup.
Cammy's one was an interesting one because immediately 24 hours after that was recorded, someone died in his house, which would have been an incredible topic to discuss about afterwards.
Do you want to explain?
But also, nah, that's fine. You can go back and listen.
All right. No, I mean, you said afterwards, though. I doubt you're going to talk
No, we
about it.
talked about the next podcast about how we fucking missed an opportunity.
Oh, right. Oh, well, fair enough.
But no, Cammy's one was, I actually thought it was pretty decent. Like, he gave a very good insight into life in China and also being arrested and shit. Well, not quite getting arrested, but nearly getting arrested over there. Talking about the cultural differences and stuff. And also, Partick Thistle fan, you've got to give the boy some credit.
Mhm.
For me, I want to put in decent.
I'll back it.
You just want me to move these in like order of preference, or we just
No, because when you start doing that, it just gets way too.
Okay.
You're doing tier lists within tier lists when you do that.
Yeah. Okay, next one. I think this will be pretty easy for me and Jamie, certainly. Oliver's podcast.
Top of the board, 100%.
Could have been improved upon.
Nah, Oliver, I mean, like, go and listen back to it if you haven't listened to it. It's genuinely, I think, the funniest interview that me and Jamie have done by quite some way. The stories that he brought on were fucking mental, and I'm really looking forward to getting him back on again at some point next year.
Elite.
Yeah, nah, it was an elite podcast. One of the more recent ones, again, Claire, talking about life in Denny. Also, as well, how, schoolways get set fire over there, difficult life.
I mean, that shit happens in Allan as well. It's nothing special.
Nah, I thought it was a pretty decent podcast, to be fair. I thought we had good chat. She also as well made the big efforts coming through last minute to help us out. I thought it was a pretty decent chat overall.
Good enough.
What are you saying? Like, do you disagree? You agree?
Not over.
Right. Menzies was also the last one that we done at the old flat, the last setup we done. In terms of coming through clutch, literally the day before he messaged saying could he be on the podcast, so he literally saved us there. Also, as well, it was the only person willing to probably record at 11:30 at night, so big respects to that as well. Thought the chat overall was fine. I think it would probably be an okay podcast looking back on it.
Right. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Yeah. And you saying decent then?
I'd go with whatever you say. It'd either be okay or decent. I couldn't care less.
I'll put it top okay. I thought it was like a half decent chat, but I do think like these ones above it decent were like done better, if that makes sense. Right. Boris. Our first overseas one this year. Very nice guy. Podcast went all right. I think there were
I'm sensing it could be improved upon.
Yeah, I'm getting back on it because unfortunately, like, he tried his best. He was giving some good insights into life in Russia and also traveling around the world, which is interesting. But I think the issues with Zoom and also like the fact that there was a bit of a language gap at certain points means that, for me at least, it needs to be and could be improved upon. What are you thinking, Jamie?
So realistically, it's just his English could be improved upon, is what you're saying.
No, I'm sensing not talking the way I talk would be an improvement.
I'm sensing racism there.
Well, in which case then that was an elite podcast. There we go.
Well, I've got an issue with this that I'll bring up after the fact.
The fact you're an elite is absolutely ridiculous.
No, it's Liam that should be knocked off elite.
I'm not in elite. What are you talking
about? Yeah. Did you know do Mitchell's podcast before you done Rachel's?
No.
I felt like Mitchell done it ages ago.
Nah, it was like about 6 months ago or something.
Nah, I suppose.
Anyway, I don't know. Sam's podcast next. Sam, not
Oh.
Sam Little John, Sam Bar. Sam came in with pretty interesting stuff about the music industry, talking about life in Glasgow growing up and also the problems that are happening in both the music industry. Again, thought it was a fine podcast. I didn't think there was anything wonderful about it, but I thought it was a half decent chat. I'd be willing to put in like okay-ish.
Aye. I would agree.
Okay. Then we've got Tasha. Again, I think
Tasha and Richmond.
What's that?
No.
Tasha was a pretty decent podcast again, sort of talking about life's growing up in Falkirk. I realise a lot of these people we've had have just lived in slums. And struggles with that, and then obviously having to try and make it in Glasgow in the media industry. Again, thought it was a totally fine podcast. I think it would be okay for me. What are you saying, Jamie?
It could have been improved based on the fact that it was recorded rather poor connection, and it was just a Zoom really, but the actual chat was alright.
Alright, I'll back it. I'll put in like the top of could be improved upon. Right, Gio next.
He's a QPR fan, could have been improved upon if he was a fan of any other team.
The actual podcast was decent. It was actually good, but the fucking heat with we were in was ridiculous.
That'll always be a thing that stands from that podcast, will be the heat that we recorded. The fact as well is our longest one at that point as well that we've ever done is a fucking tribulation.
I don't know. I'd say it was decent though.
Yeah, like I think it was probably the podcast that felt the least like a podcast. It was very much for the most part a football chat. But I quite like the fact that it was just a football
What was
chat.
it that he said about me in that podcast again? I remember he mentioned me, but I watched the podcast, but I knew for a time, but I completely forgot since.
I'll be honest, I can't remember what he said about you. I'm sure it was lovely fun. So.
Oh, of course.
Right, Sam Littlejohn next.
All right, so I put this podcast in elite for the fact that Jamie munchies a whole munchie box.
The munchie box gate that came from this is fucking something else, by the way.
Also, the fact that Sam sat around with his family and watched it.
No, he didn't sit around with his family and watch it. He walked into his living room after work one day and seen them fucking watching it on the TV.
Even better, honestly. That podcast has been so well talked about. That's one of my favourite podcasts. And the Munchie Box to go alongside it is just...
Was it a mini one?
It was like, I feel like Jamie gets unfairly treated about this. It was a tiny fucking Munchie Box.
It was just the way that he's just... It was like 4 chips at a time.
Oh, you're fucking right. I was starving.
It was a Dyson mover.
I think it is like, apart from him getting annoyed, is the part that we cut out, which we also can't mention. But apart from that, I think it was probably an elite podcast.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wouldn't give him that. I'd say it's decent.
You said decent?
Aye. We fucking cunt. We mophead bastard doesn't deserve elite.
Right, Mitchell up next. Fucking.
For him, I'd honestly say, if you're classing it in a Mitchell, it was elite because he just came off really well. If you're basing it off all your other guests, I'd put it probably in decent, honestly. Like, compared to most of the podcasts I've listened to. It's just that the only issue with him is he didn't really have much interesting to talk about, but just general chat was really...
Yeah, no, that's the only issue, and it's not against Mitch for me, but during the actual podcast, like, see, for just random small talk, he was fucking incredible at, possibly one of the best we've ever had for it.
It's so funny.
But see, like, when we tried to, like, ask him about certain topics, he would give us about, like, 2 sentences, and that would be it.
Aye. Mm-hmm. Although, he did big me up quite well, so...
So is that why you're saying that?
Aye.
I'm willing to put it in decent, but I want Jamie to give his insight.
Nah, I'd say decent as well. I think it was fucking funny as fuck.
That's the thing. It's like he doesn't have the stories to back it up. Like I've never done a podcast like that because I feel like I'm very similar. And like the fact that there's not a lot of stuff that I'd like to go in and just sit and talk about. But like it was just a general chat. It was like just a good chat. And he slagged me off and bigged me up both in the same podcast. So it looks like Zlatan as well, which you can't put that past him.
I can't really dispute that, to be fair, he does.
Right, Shannon, again, one of the more recent ones, I think. Talked about life in EK, you know, growing up in the meme streets. I think actually in terms of like living in the harsh life and growing up, I think she's probably topping this, to be honest, or at least close there. Yeah, gave very honest insights about, you know, living with a dysfunctional family, you know, and like talking about, you know, the troubles of college and stuff like that. For me, it's either I'd probably put it maybe at the bottom of decent or top of okay. What do you think, Jamie?
It was alright, aye.
You said more okay.
I think that's okay then.
I'd say it's okay.
Right. Again, one of the more recent ones, the Christmas special with Lewis and Francis. What was your thoughts on it, Jamie?
Oh, is this the one where Jamie had to shrink into a t-shirt?
Right. We just thought I was warm as fuck in that. Nah, I thought it could have been improved.
Really? That low down?
Aye. I thought it was, from an outsider's point of view, boring as fuck. It's what I would have said.
You might be right.
Look at the views.
Oh, that boy looks like he's laughed at. Sorry.
I think like
you take the views, I know it's not something you can really run off, but look at the views in comparison to everything else. There's a reason for that. People clicked it and went, no, this is boring.
43 minutes, 34 seconds, Jamie sitting like he's in his class under the table, just a wee bit of typing there, so you could sense he wasn't enjoying it.
Nah, I was bored. I was openly honest about it as well. It was boring. I didn't feel well. Freedom were drinking. I didn't enjoy it. And from an outsider's point of view, it probably wasn't that. Well, it clearly wasn't that good a watch as well. I'd get you watch that, Dylan, first 10 minutes and you'll click off it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely could have been improved on.
The thing is, part of it was exactly what I wanted, though. I didn't honestly want a normal podcast chat. I just kind of wanted to like just drink and see how it went. And it's a shame that obviously you were unwell that day. I think if you were like drinking as well, you probably would have enjoyed it more. But I can see what you mean. As an actual podcast, it does fail in what it's meant to be. So I'm fine with putting it down there. But I also do want to do it again, which, you know, maybe say something. Right, now you can't say just at the bottom just because it's a Celtic fan, Jamie, but we've got other George now on. What's that?
Definitely right at the bottom.
Oh, it was a fine chat. I thought it gave a good insight to like the working sort of an early age. Talked about, you know, life. We didn't actually speak about football that much, probably sensibly. You know, he's also as well got his like retro gaming sort of site, which I thought was pretty interesting chat. I think it was okay, certainly.
It was alright. Like hearing about his wee milk runs and shit, and then his wee paper runs or whatever, and then alright, it wasn't
absolute child abuse that came through that.
No.
Right, and finally, the most recent one that we've done prior to this.
If you really
Taylor's
started
podcast.
the worst for last. Could have been improved upon, less COVID.
I actually want Jamie's opinion first on this one. What are you thinking?
Well, I didn't want it to happen, but you forced it to happen.
I forced it.
You did. You forced it. It was good. It done well. No.
I thought it was an alright one. Like it's not against her. She obviously done very well. She was very nervous beforehand. But I thought the chat was good. I think part of the nerves that might have kicked in, and it's probably more from my fault. But I expected you to probably jump in at certain points to like ask questions that I didn't necessarily know about. But you were obviously clearly nervous as well during it, which I like taken into account a bit. So I think it probably goes in okay as an actual podcast itself.
Dog shit, I think we make a new category.
Yeah, do you know what? You're right, well done. Let
Then-
me just move this card down the bottom. There we go. I think that's it perfect now, don't you?
100%.
Right, there we go. For for every guest we've had on this year and previously, this is the fucking final results of how we thought
almost
we'd done.
final. There's one thing that's been need to get changed back, but
Nah, I think that's it. Right, there we go. But nah. Honestly, thanks to everyone for doing it though. I appreciate those that have came on and helped us drag this out a hole, especially like Taylor.
except for the Christmas special, am I right?
Nah, listen, I really enjoyed it. I can see the why Jamie hated it. I can see as a podcast it fails. I'm not going to argue about that.
Well, it's got 40 views on YouTube for a reason, Bill.
It's got 41 now.
Well,
Be from Dylan just clicking on it there.
fuck you for clicking on it, Bill.
I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. Shall we move on to the award show?
I don't think so.
No, have you got something else you want to do now?
Amend that tier list.
Sorry, it's been closed. Jamie,
right,
you said it wasn't. It was official at that point, didn't you?
We'll go on.
So, for those that have, again, been long-time viewers, you'll know that every year, this is the third year now, we do the Sitting and Chatting Awards show.
We're yet to have a diss track to go alongside it, but that's...
I mean, if you want to give me one, you've got until the 2nd of January when this is released to give me one if you want, but...
We'll see if you piss me off enough.
I'm sure I can do that. No, ask me against someone, we can all have a go at. Just do it against Bradley.
Fucking gimp anyway.
Right, but anyway, yeah, so we've got the Sitting and Chatting Awards, or the Chatties, as we've called them.
You may have called them. Me and Jamie.
I mean, listen, that's what it was called last year, and that's what I'm called them again this year. Yeah, I've got the nice wee trophy back. It's come out the cupboard after a long time. But yeah,
we get a new one for every person. Every category gets its own trophy.
Yeah, I
get a big massive crate of them.
You can't see it because of the camera, but there's actually a full line of trophies here. Each one's different.
They're all labelled and everything.
Yeah, they're all just slightly different, But yeah, so each thing, apart from like a few of them, has like 3 different options. Obviously, I'll read out the category and then you can sort of give your thoughts on it.
Are we doing a speed round?
Right. First one. The best podcast of 2021. The nominees are the Sitting and Chatting podcast, the Sitting and Chatting podcast. And how did you know the third one?
I tell you what, I'll know the third one and the fourth one. The Sitting and Chatting podcast and the Sitting and Chatting podcast.
It's that well renowned.
They roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
Anyway, for me, it's going to be the fellas.
I didn't hear them get nominated there.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, it's not part of the nomination. So the award goes to the Sitting and Chatting podcast. Give a round of applause.
The second favourite podcast.
Jamie, do you want to give a speech for this award this year?
I want to thank every cunt, except Bradley.
Right, next one. Best sponsorship. The options are Anchor, Anchor FM, or Anchor FM. And the winner is
I think the one without
FM.
FM. No, I think just Anchor.
That's not sorry, I meant to say
that.
Anchor, feel free to pick up this trophy as well as give me and Jamie our check. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Right, the best non-sitting and chatting podcast. The options are Happy Hour, The Fellas, and What's Good. What are we saying, boys? I know Jamie.
I can't believe Impulsive isn't on it. I don't watch it, but
I mean, I don't watch it either. That's why it's not here.
Is this what we're doing, Jamie? Just looking back.
Stretching a fucking yeah. Wait, did you say you don't watch any podcasts? It's done.
No, I watch What's Good clips. I watch the Fellas clips, and I tend to watch Happy Hours in full. See, I feel like Happy Hour is really well made for Spotify, like because obviously they've got the exclusive Spotify deal. Their podcasts are really good for Spotify, whereas the other ones are just they're YouTube podcasts that have been uploaded to Spotify.
Do you watch or do you listen to them all through Spotify then?
No, that's the thing with if it's the Fellas or What's Good, it's on YouTube. if it's any other.
I feel
if
it's got Spotify exclusive now as well.
Well, I've not watched them recently because
I think they are.
I've
now,
been
yeah.
going through audiobooks, but I prefer Happy Hour still. I think that was my nomination last year, but like,
And that's part that was decent.
The
What,
what, sorry?
Like the clips part of Happy Hour was decent, but the actual podcast isn't that. Or that.
they had the one I recently watched was with the guy who done the news, Russell Howard.
Yeah.
Russell Howard podcast was really good.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, Happy Hour, again, similar to the other Happy Hour, and I've probably watched all of them. Like, what's good, I'll typically watch most of it. If not, I'll watch the clips. And Fellas is probably the one out of three that I watch the least, but it's also
Same.
one of the more interesting ones as well.
See, I feel like that is the there's a few podcasts that can make you think. I don't think the Fellas podcast is going to make you think.
No, but it's not also meant for that. It's not meant
That's
to
the
make
thing.
you
It's like, what is your cup of tea? I prefer
Yeah.
a podcast. If you're based off the true best podcast,
Like
every
us.
year you just say the Joe Rogan podcast.
What the fuck?
But
That is not sitting and chatting.
The true second best podcast. But that's the thing. It's what would you want to watch? And like the Fellas might be better entertainment value, but I just prefer, especially the stories that you see out. Ben Foster's podcast, I watch that sometimes. That's been really good because the insight that you get with that. Like he was saying, he was supposed to do a podcast with Mark Goldbridge, and Mark Goldbridge showed up, went to his studio and everything, and he's waiting there for him, but he got pulled to the side for a drugs test, and the way that they do it is like you don't get the chance to go on your phone, you don't get anything. This is pretty much you get put into a room so that you can't cheat this drugs test. And they've went and done that to him. Mark Goldbridge has been waiting outside his house for about half an hour at this point, an hour. And his co-host said to him, like, I think he's been taken in for a drugs test. I'm really sorry. And they had to refilm it. But it's that kind of insight, like that stuff is just the way that they're able to talk about stuff is just so much more in depth, and it's more interesting to like what I'd care about than Cal Freese going in the pisser.
So what you mean? So Jamie, is your vote then for Fellas?
No, I mean I don't watch any of them.
Ah, right.
But you want clips as well included.
I watch the clips, but I watch the clips of Fellas and I watch the clips.
Where do you put Sidecast?
I enjoy it. Like, speaking of which, by the way, yeah, I've also bumped your subscription. I'm paying for it now, by the way, this one. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's like it's much more chilled out chat.
It's
compared
not
to
a
the
real
rest of them.
podcast in the
No.
way of like guests and stuff like that. But Harry said that he didn't want it to be a podcast in the sense like he's not trying to learn anything new by getting a new guest on.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just more
it's
like
better.
what's going on this week kind of podcast. You know what I mean? Like just what's it called? The state of I can't think of the phrase, but it's just pretty much like an update kind of podcast. It's not necessarily a
It
one
works
that
as
you
well
need to
because
watch.
it's more chilled out. You get like
Aye.
you
It's a
don't get,
different
like,
vibe.
Yeah.
And I like the way their clips channel isn't an actual clips channel. It's mostly just a TikTok. There's been plenty of times when I've seen a TikTok clip of their podcast and I've went and watched the full podcast because of just a
Because of
TikTok
it.
clip.
Well, aye. So, go on, Jamie. Which one do you watch the most clips from? Would you say? Do you think?
Well, purely because I'm on TikTok all the time, it would be Sidecast. But out of the three of those that you just gave me,
The three.
We can give another one. We can give it to another one if you
no,
want.
probably the Fellas. I do watch the most clips.
I would say Happy Hour wins it for me.
I probably.
And I really like their jingle.
Just off of what I watch, I definitely watch the most of Happy Hour. So I'd probably
I feel like they've got the biggest diversity. And they copied us on Would I Lie to You? So
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Right,
Rod.
so Happy Hour wins it then. Well done, Happy Hour. You may come and collect your chatty now. This is your
only
one, your one
Stevie White, no Jack, mate.
Yeah, no.
Don't want his underbite coming.
Well, they're not coming back now. Right, best YouTuber of the year. We've got Mr. Beast. We've got Simon. We've got Nico or Moana. Or anyone else that you may want to chuck into the mix.
I would put Rocky,
Nice.
in the mix.
Yeah. The
I know if
consistency to do a podcast every week for a year, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, depends on what you base it on, because the fact that the Sidemen have managed to quite easily like quite seamlessly keep up to date with reacts, clips, more sidemen and sidemen. Is like it's really
Mr.
easy to
Beast
just
does
give
the
it to him.
same though as well, to be fair.
No, but he's got a more obvious team, and his team is huge. Whereas the Sidemen is that group, their manager and their editing team, and even their editing team have a personality behind the scenes.
No, I've got a fucking team as well. What are you talking about?
That's what I mean, though. Like their team has personality, whereas like Mr. Beast, you don't know the editors for Mr. Beast's channel unless you see him giving him a car. Whereas
Oh, okay.
Con, you see Con all the time. He does behind the scenes videos. Like even their editing team has like a sustainable income through it.
I think that plays no part in my decision. Mr. Beast is by far the top out of the three he gave. Like,
Why?
I don't watch Nick Omano because I actually don't enjoy his videos that much. Simon, I enjoy and I watch on a weekly basis. But Mr. Beast's video, the production level, and every year to maintain off four channels he's at now?
4 or 5, yeah.
He's got Mr. Beast Gaming, Beast Reacts, Beast Shorts, Beast 2, and Beast Philanthropy.
Aye, so fine. And to produce good content and all of them is unreal.
Mm-hmm. Although there is certainly like Beast Philanthropy isn't quite as like he uploads content on it and that, but it's more like I
wouldn't watch that, but like I watch 3 or 4 of his channels on a regular basis. I think his videos are outstanding every time. But and he broke the internet with one this year, so
what one? The Squid Game. Mm-hmm.
It'll probably still be his first YouTube video to reach 200 mil views. At 188 now, I think, but like to hit it with a video like that is fucking unreal. Made a lot of people go back and watch the original series again. But Mr. Beast is down, what a YouTuber.
You know what I feel like we should do once? This is off topic, but a Sidemen, a Sidemen tier list of their videos annually would be quite good because obviously I'm pretty sure you've watched them as they come out. There's always, but like I'll agree with you on like them not being this year because I'm looking at the Sidemen's most popular videos, and there is one that was in their top 10. There's only one that was within the last 10 months, and it was Tinder in Real Life 3, which was probably the best Tinder in Real Life. That's the one with Harry Pinero. That's one of the best ones. But a lot of their best videos weren't this year. They weren't the last year either because of COVID.
There's 4 or 5 videos from Mr. Beast this year that were unreal in comparison. And that is just on their main channel alone.
Are we going for Mr. Beast then?
Personally,
I'm just trying to have a look, but I can't even. All the Sidemen's best videos have kind of already been. I think there is the better videos are to come, but it's Logan Paul with Extreme Fishing was this year.
Yeah. No, there's a lot. I mean, personally for me, I would vote it as Sidemen, but that's personal preference. But I'm happy to give it to Mr. Beast this year.
Yeah,
Mr. Beast, congrats! You've won your chat.
You're a beast.
You're a beast.
You beastie bastard.
I know.
No, I'm just rude. Nobody's going to come
it?
collect them, Liam. So
What do you mean? They might fucking knock on the door tomorrow.
No, because I keep slagging them off. The wheel was really good, though, is what I'll say. The wheel was probably the best Sidemen video this year with Stephen Tries. The funniest part was the fact that Stephen Tries, I didn't know this until I watched a podcast with him. He was really badly ill when he done that. It was really last minute they got him in. He was really ill. What?
His jokes were funny as fuck.
That's the thing. Like they said, as soon as the camera turned off, though, he like flipped into like because normally he keeps up his personality even when the camera's not on. But as soon as the camera was off, he's like ill. He was like brutally ill. But like just knowing that he was that ill, and you couldn't even it wasn't even remotely visible in the videos. Just so well done. That's probably my favourite video they've done this year. But it's just the consistency of Mr. Beast. They have so many good ones.
Tinder 3 was probably my favourite.
Tinder 3 was unbelievable.
Well, speaking of which, the best YouTube video of the year is the next award.
I feel
Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast Squid Games, Tinder Real Life 3, or The Wheel.
Well, I feel that that's quite remarkable, Jamie. The fact that me and you didn't even know that was coming, and we've managed to list off all 3 of the videos.
The Squid Game is far too good to not be the best video of the year.
But for rewatchability, I'd probably say Simon Tinder in Real Life 3 is more rewatchable, but the Squid Game one wins.
It is, but you have to take into account it is just
I
the
know.
best video
Aye.
of the year.
Aye.
Right. Mr. Beast, 2 in a row. Well done. You've won another chip. We've looked for Mr. Beast Squid Games. Right, Jamie, this one's sort of more for us as well. But the biggest argument that we had during the quality and shite wall, okay? The nominees are for the Queen, God Zombies, or Boris Johnson. What caused the biggest argument?
Me not being there, I imagine it was the Queen, because I know both
I actually think it was COD Zombies, to be honest.
It was 100%. It was zombies.
Were
This
you
man-
for or
This
against
man
them?
was trying to put zombies at the bottom.
Alright, I was going to say, Zombies is like the most top tier gameplay that you can get on COD.
Absolute pish. It's absolute pish. And for that, Call of Duty Zombies, you win another charity. Congrats.
I know, I was about to start another argument just like
I can't be arsed with it. Honestly, I hate it.
I could have went for a while there.
Again, on the topic of the quality and shite wall, we're now going to give an award to the highest place item now on there. So in 3rd place, we have James Bond. In 2nd place, we have Toast. And in 1st place, we have the pub/bar.
Rubik's Cube should have been top.
Why do you hate the pub so much? Go on, enlighten me.
Oh no, but it's more that I prefer other stuff over it.
Aye, but you're making it sound as if it's shite.
It is compared to the other stuff.
That's fine anyway. Rubik's Cube's about to have its moment in the light.
No.
The lowest place item on the quality and shite wall. We have in 3rd place, exams. 2nd place, metal music. And in 1st place is the Rubik's Cube. Dylan, you feel free to collect your chatty from the Rubik's Cubes.
Oh, you know I will collect that chatty Liam if you're offering it.
Right. This is where I'll need your guys' opinion as well. The best thumbnail for these podcasts that I've done, okay? The options I put down here are episode 95, No Time to Die spoilers, episode 104, Why the Pub is Incredible, episode 70, Would I Lie to You?
I quite like episode 99, which is Shrek.
Right.
Or 89 with Jamie and Lightning McQueen. I quite like that.
I know, that is a banger.
What are you saying, Jamie? What's your favourite thumbnail out of those ones?
Right, the ones you gave.
Yeah, well, aye, or in general. If you've
Nah, the one with me and Lightning McQueen.
I think Jamie and Lightning McQueen is honestly, or maybe the one next to it with Jamie and the Union Jack bucket hat with a Union Jack wrapped in him. That's also right up there.
Right.
I'd lean towards the Lightning McQueen one. Looking at the pictures now, and like the ones that you said, look, they're all right, but
they're
like
fucking
Jamie
well
and-
edited. They're the 3
Jamie
best
and-
edited ones.
Jamie and Lightning McQueen, you know what I mean? That's like that's reaching a whole
Are
new
we
level.
giving it to Lightning? What episode is it? 89? Am I right?
89. Mhm.
Right, okay.
I base my life on Lightning McQueen sitting in chat and
This
podcast
chatty,
number
which is
89.
going to be for all my hard thumbnail edits this year, but it's for Lightning McQueen. Well done.
Lightning McQueen.
Right. Favourite moment during the podcast? Now, if you have obviously got different ones, feel free to shout them out. But I personally have gone for Dylan announcing to the world that his dad's Jamaican. The 100th episode quiz that we done, and also the quality and shite wall on the Christmas special. But is there anything else that stands out for you?
That Jamaica thing is quite high up, I'd probably say, just because that's probably the funniest
I'm
one.
pretty sure I cried with laughter during that.
Aye, that was.
Right. I'd agree with the Jamaican bacon thing, but I'll not give you a Christmas episode one.
Right.
I know Jamie already wasn't keen on that, so
What about the 100th episode quiz then, Jamie?
The one me done. I enjoyed that.
was that a segment or like a?
We done it as it was a big segment for the 100th
Aye.
episode.
I thought that.
I enjoyed-
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed that, but if I was to choose, the Jamaican thing was just fucking priceless.
Yeah, I think it has to be. It'll be a moment that I'll forever fucking remember. I'm so glad it was recorded.
Actually, I've been looking at the video and I can see that I'm lost at the bit where I mentioned Jamaica. So
yeah, the winner is the Jamaican dad moment. Well done.
slander.
It's an all chatty for you, Dom.
I've collected them up now.
Right, biggest gimp of the year.
Jamie.
Some tough nominations here. We've got Harry Kane, Piers Morgan, or Tommy Fury.
Tommy Fury for sure.
See, I really wanted to give it to dribbling cunt Harry Kane. You know.
Nah. Tommy Fury. The conductor YouTuber. Enough said.
I'd say I don't really, I can't even think of who I would vote for, but all three of them just kind of no bothered.
All three of them. What you meant.
I mean, Harry Kane had a shite Euro 2020 and couldn't get his move through to Man City despite trying to force it, and Carey scored a goal to save his life. Like, that's pretty funny.
See, I'd put Grealish ahead of Kane though.
Why?
Just
At least he's been performing for
He got
Spurs.
his move to Man City.
I
But
know.
he's
Aye. Like, and also the fact that him going to Man City meant that Messi and Ronaldo didn't have him in a Manchester derby.
But let's be real. I would rather that because Messi's pish. Like Messi.
All right, let's just not go down
Right,
this
I've
route.
changed the awards. The biggest gimp of the year is Jamie.
Aye.
Just jealous because Messi can't compete in different leagues.
All right, let's just nip this in the bud before it goes on because.
Jesus, that was fucking intense. Right, now, but who? So what, Jamie? You're saying Tommy, Dylan? Who are you saying?
I'll say Tommy just for the sake of ending this topic, but I'm not too swayed on either person.
Tommy Fury, well done. You've won something. Congrats. You've got yourself a charity. Right. the best segment that we've done this year. The nominees are Jamie's Love Island review, which lasted about 4 episodes. We've got the Quality and Shitewall, of course, and we've got also Mr. and Mr. as well, or who is most likely to.
I'd probably say Quality and Shitewall.
I mean,
Really
it
good
has
time.
to be. Like, I mean, I just had to fill out with 2 other things. Don't get me wrong, like, Jamie, I appreciated the Love Island reviews and, you know.
Fuck off. You and
Yeah,
your purple lidded water.
Right. Hell and Spring. We'll take a sponsor at any point.
It's blood out for a reason though. Not until you give some money.
No till you give some money. But yeah, it has to be Quality Shitewall. I think we're all in agreement.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Woo! Well done. Oh no, he's gone cross-eyed. That's terrifying. Right. Best game show we've done this year. Is
Would I
it?
Like You Part 1?
I mean, you haven't heard the options yet. It's Would I Lie to You Part 1, Would I Lie to You Part 2, or Room 101. It's a difficult choice.
What was Room 101 again?
Like the things that we would want to do. Like, you know, like something that we hate. We have to, like, argue why it's the worst thing ever.
Aye.
That one,
podcast being quite difficult.
That one. I mean, let's be honest. I think Would I Lie to You one was a bit of luck.
Lightning in a bottle, is what we'll call it.
Yeah, no, we should have done the other two, to be totally honest.
No,
but
part 2 for it was funny.
no, part 2 was not that good.
It was just a long. It was so many lies because there'd been so like. We need to do this in 10 more years after we've lived more life. Like, we're all in our 20s. We don't exactly have that much history. Like, Jamie sits talking about falling off like big stones and stuff like that as his lies and his proofs.
Yours are just Would I Lie to You because I won both times.
That is a lie. You're right.
I mean, I can't remember the second time, but first I definitely know you won. Right, yeah, no, let's get
I remember the second time we all had different answers for who won, so.
Aye, but
Yeah,
I was
no.
lost.
Sure.
Right, but anyway, yeah, it's Would I Lie to You Part 1. Well done. Right. Biggest surprise episodes, you know, maybe the one that we didn't expect to do as well as it did, or as
Honest,
bad
I
as
think
it did.
Would I Like You Part 1 as well, because I thought that was going to be a real struggle. I thought we were going to go into that, and it was going to be quite boring and quite like, oh no, you're doing it wrong. And the way it just went so smoothly was quite.
Well, on the episodes, we've got Aidan's one, we've got Sam's one, and we've got Would I Lie to You Part 1. Part of me wants to actually say, though, Jamie, the Aidan one, because both you and me were very fucking sceptical before we started it, and it turned out pretty well.
I know, I agree. I feel like that and Menzies I was sceptical about as well because the way you hyped it up. Well, not hyped it up, but dialed it down, and that was good as well.
No, if you had to get to one of the two, then Aidan or Menzies, because I'll back you. You know, something different.
Aidan.
Right, Aidan, congrats. You've won your charity. Best thing promoted by a guest. So we've got Claire's radio show. We've got George's retro gaming page. We've also got Neil's drawings. For me personally, I think Claire's radio, I haven't actually listened to Claire's radio show. I thought it's probably the best out of them lot. Would you have a personal preference or something else that a guest has maybe talked about?
Jamie with Highland Springs.
Nah, I would agree.
Okay.
I would. It's one of those ones where it's like Nah, actually, I've got nothing to say. I'd agree with Beth.
Right, Claire, well done. You won a charity. Next one. The guest who I had to cut out the most content for. In third place is you and me, which took 5 minutes out. In second place is Sam, who had to take 7 minutes worth of content out. And in first place is Oliver, who had to take 18 minutes worth of content out.
What did he say?
It cannot be repeated on here for any
hard
for a lot of
R's. I'm
reasons.
kidding.
Oh my god. No, Dylan, it's really close to home for us.
Right. The guest that was most nervous to appear on the podcast. We've got Taylor.
I was honest, I had flutters on it.
No, fuck off. Taylor, we've got Sam, and I haven't put down another one here, so we'll just
I
put
think
down
Mitchell could be up there, but he was just really smooth.
Nah,
when he
Mitchell
did it.
was totally sound with it.
That's the thing, though. Like, the way I know Mitchell, I imagine he would have been, but it just wasn't. So,
try to look at the boards there. Anyone else that stands out as being nervous? Oliver as well is kind of nervous, actually. Yeah, okay. I'll say Oliver, Taylor, or Sam. I'm definitely going for Taylor, though. Definitely.
I'd agree, Taylor.
Well done, Taylor. You've won your chai. I've just sat next to you. I'll have to come and pick it up.
Cool.
Person that went the extra mile for the podcast, someone that helped us out that wasn't just, me and Jamie. I've got Fergus here for the Movies in a Minute segment they done for the 100th episode. I've got Dylan for the extra episodes and putting in the extra work. And Francis and Lewis for doing the Christmas special 2 hours before.
Can I just ask? Can we see whoever made the original "Would I Like You" questions? Can we put him as like negative, like the opposite of helpful? Send the PDF of some of the worst questions I've ever seen.
Fuck you. He tried. Right. I mean, although you've just slagged off another person, I think we unfortunately have to get it to Dylan at this point.
No, it's definitely a Fergus situation.
No, you said Fergus. Right, okay, I'm happy with that.
What podcast is it he done?
He done the Movie in a Minute for the 100th episode. He also done 2 other ones, but I can't remember which episodes they were on. But yeah, Fergus, for Movies in a Minute, you've won yourself a charity. Well done.
Woo!
Best football team. You've got Liverpool. You've got Bayern Munich. You've got Chelsea. Who's winning it, boys?
I'd probably say Chelsea.
What did you say, Jamie?
Winning Champions League?
No, just who's been the best football team?
Yeah, just who's been the best football team.
I'd probably say Chelsea for the fact that they watch like their run of form. They really shouldn't have won that Champions League, and when every other team that's won the Champions League in recent memory have deserved it except for them. But it's not that they didn't deserve it; they were just so unexpected winners.
Yeah, unfortunately so. But hey, they stopped Man City. Are we all saying Chelsea then?
Just because they stopped Man City.
It's easy to say Liverpool, but what have we actually done? It's not.
I mean, if you look at, because I'm looking at the calendar year of 2021, right? Because Chelsea have had shite parts, Bayern Munich are on a bit of a down slope. But Liverpool have been pretty fucking great recently. But yeah, I do see where it comes
It's
from.
recency bias is
Yeah,
massive.
no,
there, though.
that's totally fair.
Mhm.
But yeah, Chelsea for once will win a charity. Well done.
And the Champions League,
can't
we
come.
know what's
No,
better.
let's be honest. Would you rather have in your trophy cabinet this or the fucking Champions League? We know what it
Champions League is terrible compared to that.
Right, best sport moment.
The European Super League getting cancelled.
That is on there. We've also got as well Max Verstappen 2021 F1 final day of the race. And we've also got as well Italy winning the Euros. And you know what I'm voting for. So
I would probably say European Super League getting cancelled. Like, I actually had real like worry about that and like really messing up football.
I'd agree.
Just because you don't want it to be Italy winning the Euros.
Imagine the Super League changing the football.
I know, like, it's so mental. I get what you're saying, but like, it's just imagine like you're trying to explain to your kids what it was like when football was like a league system. Like, imagine that.
I mean, it'll happen at some point. We've only merely delayed, I think, before something like this comes in the future.
I don't know. It's hard.
It'll never be allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
But I think the closest it will ever get was the European Super League.
So we're saying European Super League for being cancelled, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Big up other teams.
Well done, every other team that stopped it. And social media was massive with that, man. That was the most I've ever seen football Twitter get behind the one thing.
Right. It's a big one. Fastest quick fire time this year. In third place.
Still one more to go.
I don't know. In third place, it is Sam Littlejohn. In second place, a recent one, Francis Walker on the Christmas special.
You're not going to give it the times?
Sam Littlejohn, 50 seconds, 0.1 with 9 correct. Francis, 45.6 with 10 correct. But in first place, with 10 correct as well, on 43 seconds, is Mitchell.
Probably time he's winning an award for his intellect.
Well done, Mitchell. Feel free to collect your chatty when you want. But opposite to that, we've also got the slowest quick fire times.
I like this. This is good.
In third place, with 127 with 7 correct, it is Gio Eldred.
Embarrassing.
Is in second place with 141 and 7 correct, it is Tasha. And finally, the slowest time, by quite some distance actually, on 157 with 8 correct, it's Bradley.
Oh, well done, Bradley. Honestly, there's no award I'd think you better for.
Well done, Bradley. There's your chatty. Feel free to collect.
We gave him Chelsea. We can slag him off for this.
Right. Best dress sense of the podcast. Gio for wearing jeans in 50-degree heat. Dylan for wearing a suit. And finally, Jamie's Christmas shirt.
I'd say Jamie's Christmas shirt.
I think it has to be Jamie's Christmas shirt. Jamie, well done. You've won a chat.
Thank you.
Right, best football-related guest. Like, not like solely football chat, but like they gave the best football chat.
George probably, because George is so well knowledged.
No, we've got George, we've got Gio, and then we've got Graham.
I think George, because listening to George, he just knows. When you go to him?
No, Gio is who you're talking about.
Aye, that's what I mean. Gio, like, he's just so like, just talk to him and that. Like, he's one of those guys that will tell you about football. You don't even really talk about it. Like, he can just tell you so much.
But it is yeah, so.
Aye, but you know, you've got to start somewhere.
Right. Gio, you've won a chat. Well done. Feel free to pick up. Right, worst episode we've done this year.
Bradley.
Nominees are Would I Lie to You Part 2, Liam is cancelled, episode 102, and finally Piers Morgan versus Meghan Markle, episode 65.
I thought Jamie put the Christmas special on there.
Christmas special,
no, because I at least enjoyed filming that. These episodes I fucking hate the passion. I
could back Would I Like You Part 2 because it was just
went
so
so
long.
bad. It went so badly wrong. I
feel like we need
swear
to
as
plan
well,
it
it's
as a
like one of our, it's like pretty long as well episode.
I'll go quickly check. Would I Like You Part 2?
Just annoyed
It
because
is.
Say again?
You're just annoyed because I took the dub.
No, I'm fine with that. It was a shit episode. That's the problem I have with
So,
it.
Would I Like You Part 1 was an hour and 44. Then Room 101 was 2 hours 20.
Yeah.
And Would I Like You Part 3 was Part 2 was an hour and 37. So it's actually the shortest out of the ones we've done, but it felt the longest trying to come up, keep it go. Because at one point you're like, you just straight away you can just easily answer while you're lying. And like, but you need to explain it. That was the worst probably because there was no good questions to ask, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the trouble is we fumbled the bag there because like
Aye.
we
He
thought
could have
with how
been
well
better.
the first one went, they
Aye.
were like the second one will be a straight up guarantee, which it was not. So we
I think a
like
trivia show soon would be good.
We can try it and you can host it.
Oh, I'd love to host a trivia show.
I know you fucking would. Right. With a Lighty Part 2, worst episode we've done this year. Well done. Right. Best scrad Jamie has eaten on the podcast.
Oh, that's a good one.
The options are the Munchie Box on Sam's episode. We've also got the Chewits from episode 99. And we've also got the Dinky Posh Dogs from episode 64.
There's one
What?
winner here.
We just start, I can't remember who the guest was with. It was episode 64, but you just started off by saying, "Here, by the way, have any of you ever had Dinky Posh Dogs?" And ever since I heard that, I was like, I have to put that in there. Just for the name alone.
I'd easily say the Munchie Box because how iconic that Munchie Box is.
I mean, it's down to Jamie because it does say the best scrad Jamie's had on the podcast. So
Aye,
yes.
so what?
Munchie Box I enjoyed the most.
Were you
The
self-conscious
Sam
of it
episode,
afterwards?
even after what's happened, even the fallout that's come from it.
Yeah.
He still carry like a Munchie Box in there.
Well,
No,
then,
bye.
that Munchie Box from wherever Jamie ordered it, congrats, you've won a chatty.
You can't come collect it.
Most outrageous comment that we've had on the podcast. Jamie, for saying Raheem Sterling will be the top goal scorer in the Premier League this season. Gio for saying Jake Paul would be knocked out by Tommy Fury. And finally, Jamie for saying Brendan Rodgers is a better manager than Pep.
I'd say that Brendan Rodgers one. I did not know that ever happened, and I'm actually disappointed in you for saying it too.
It's literally a title for one of them.
Wait, what are you talking about? You don't stand by that. I stand by that situation.
Listen, I don't disagree with it as many other people do, but a lot of people consider that an outrageous comment. That's why.
No, I agree. Although when you've got somebody like Klopp who says that Pep is the best manager in the world,
Aye, that's because he's goalie.
no,
Yeah.
if you're talking about who you've got to say is the best, you're talking about Sir Alex Ferguson.
No, in the world right now.
Manage, yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Personally, for me, I'm saying it's Jamie saying Sterling will be top goal scorer in the Prem this year.
No, but people always hit it with stuff like that, and it could have.
It's just
happened.
Jamie that hits it. Every year we do the
No.
podcast, he makes these outrageous fucking claims.
No, I don't reckon that one's as crazy as the Brendan Rodgers one.
Aye, so Brendan Rodgers is a much better manager. Well, I mean, look what he done. Look what he done at Celtic, and then he moved. And
What
he
team-
took
what
Leicester
team-
into a European spot.
All right, what happened on Boxing Day?
That's a respect. See, 8 o'clock tonight. See, 8 o'clock tonight when Brendan Rodgers leads his team to beat Liverpool, then you'll know.
Don't fucking say that. Right.
So,
Okay, so
The
Jamie, I'm going to presume then, Jamie, since two of them are you're going to vote for Gio's one down, I guess.
100% aye.
Right. Dylan, what are you voting for?
I'm voting for the Pep Guardiola situation.
I want to fucking vote for the Sterling one, so one of us is going to have to move. And it won't be
I'd say
Jamie.
Liam is a Simon Cowell of the podcast, so he gets the strongest vote.
Strongest vote.
Well, I'm leaning between those two ones, so I'd lean on more towards what you're saying than what Jamie's saying. So I'd say what you say is the.
I do want to give it to the Sterling one, but I'll
I'll say Sterling. I'll say Sterling.
I'm glad to hear. Thank you. So, Jamie, you've won another chatty for an outrageous football comment this
A
year.
chatty saying you should pretty much stop chatting. It's a wonderful achievement.
Right. Best hairstyle. We've got my mohawk, the full blonde, or a fade for me. Which one's it?
I think Mitchell.
No, he's not a fucking option here. It's one of the three. Isn't it?
I think when you went blonde, because you look like, oh, who's the guy that you used to? You look like I can't remember Baggio. You look like Baggio when you had the mohawk look.
The mohawk.
I'd say the mohawk for that fact alone. Because I remember at football, I looked at you and I just couldn't unsee it. Like,
I know. It's because it'd gone so long because I just went and got it shaved and you're all just like, what the fuck have you done? It was a fucking bastard to maintain by me. I didn't expect it when I fucking done it. Like, it requires so much fucking hairspray. It's unreal to keep it like that. So what, we give it to my mohawk then?
I'd say the mohawk.
Yeah, well
Well done, Liam. First award of the day.
It's all right. I want to sit and chat about it. Right. Weirdest moment. Oliver for all his stories in America and Israel. Claire's school kids getting set on fire story. Or Jamie for proving that he's a lord mid-podcast.
I'd say the Lord thing I knew, so it's not a surprise to me. School kids getting set on fire, that's just casual. So
you want to give it to Oliver for his American and Israel stories.
That sounds like the most interesting.
I feel like it's got to go to me, to be honest.
It's got to go to you.
100%. I was the only one that proved it happened.
What do you mean prove that? What, are you doubting these stories that we've had from all these guests?
Show me.
Jamie, tell you what, Liam, I think you'll agree this is fair. If you can get within 10 correct, how many different words does Scotland have for snow? If you can get within 10, you get the award.
If I can prove what? If I can say what?
If you can get within 10 of the right answer, you need to get within a 10th of the answer. So if it was 25 and you said 20 or 30, you would get it right.
What's the question?
How many different words does Scotland have for snow?
We found this out last night.
You found it out when, Liam?
Last night he told us. I still don't believe him, to be honest, but...
On you go, Joe.
Is it just a random number?
Yeah, right, just
yeah, it's a number. How many different words do you think Scotland has for snow?
Scottish words for snow.
420. I can't even...
421.
Right.
It's 421. So you walk away with the award. But you also...
I reckon Taylor's Googled that.
That's
no
what
way,
I was
you just
feeling.
fucking guess that.
Taylor's not here, I'm isolating mine. And my phone's here.
In which case then, Jamie, well done, you've won the chat for weirdest moment. Right.
That was
Next
also
one.
a really weird moment there. Quite ironic.
Right, best Zoom moment. During the Cammy episode when there was a fight outside in Jamie's garden between two random Neds and that got interrupted. Jamie spilled a full 2-litre bottle of Iron Brew over himself 15 seconds before the podcast started. And finally, Mitchell and Liam recording our podcast before Jamie showed up because he fell asleep and we weren't sure.
I thought that was going to be the moment because I was sitting talking to you in that podcast before it was even filmed.
Let's go. Me and Mitchell literally recorded for anywhere from about half an hour to an hour because we were like, fuck, Jamie might actually not come on. Like we had. And
Did
it was
you
like
start recording?
Yeah, no, that was the thing. Like, so we waited for about half an hour. Jamie was a no-show, no matter how much we tried phoning him or messaging him or whatever. And I'm sitting there on the call with Mitchell, and this is like the day before the podcast needs to go out. So I'm just like, fuck it, we'll just record it now. And if Jamie doesn't make it, just to keep the streak going, we'll do it. But then thankfully he joined about half an hour, and so we just started again.
How was it? I'd love to see that cut of just you and Mitchell talking. I think that would have been a good podcast.
It wasn't really a point. It was just like me and him just shooting shit. Like,
it was like
there wasn't any structure behind it at all. We were just literally chatting shit for like.
See, that seems if you had like a behind the scenes channel, that's definitely behind the scenes content like that. I'd like.
Part of me wishes I did keep it, but also like it was quite bad.
Do you have it at all?
Nah, it's gone.
Oh, that's a shame.
Fucking Jamie taking a fucking 2 hours to get onto the podcast.
I swear you were awake 5 minutes before it started as well. Like we were all looking at you. It's like he's active on Messenger.
I was just like, where is this cunt patching us?
No.
Well,
Mm.
I mean, I think we have to give it then to that then, since it's probably
Aye.
the most interesting story.
It's so
Congrats to me and Mitchell for having to deal with Jamie's shite.
Aye.
Fuck up.
Fuck up, Enrique. I'm trying to
Right.
make it for him.
Funniest guest. We've got Oliver. We've
For
got
doing funniest
Sam.
looking, I think
And
Mitchell
we've
needs to
got
win.
Cammy.
No, Oliver's great.
Oliver's going to be yours. Part of me wanted to put Cammy, actually. Cammy was like, I didn't expect this to be as funny as it was. But I can also see why Oliver's one was just fucking carnage. So we give it to that then.
Okay.
Oliver, well done. What's next? The best nearly being arrested in China story. Cammy for when he nearly got arrested in China. Oliver for when he nearly got arrested in China. And Boris for when he nearly got arrested in China.
Well,
A theme that happened this year, I think.
Cammy's just probably the most bizarre.
Yeah, with the taxi and the cycling and shit. Yeah.
But
Boris. Oh, sorry, say again.
I'd say it was that one for that reason.
Yeah.
It was so fucking bizarre.
Yeah, Oliver's was, just try to sneak out and grab alcohol and almost being caught, and Boris's as well was just for having weed. So, yeah, I think it's fair. I think we give it to Cammy. Cammy, well done. You got yourself a charity. Best overseas guest. A lot of strong competition here this year. We've got Boris, and then we've got Boris.
Probably
The winner
not.
is Boris. Boris, feel free to come over from Russia and collect your award at any point. The guest that made us feel the most dumb whilst talking to him.
If you just give me the award now, that'll be fine.
The guest that made us lose the most brain cells that you'd be here, but it's no point that question. We've got Angus, we've got Aidan, and we've got Bradley as the three options. Which guest made you feel the most dumb?
I bet you felt stupid for getting Bradley on.
Angus is.
Angus is, I think, as well.
No, I reckon Bradley, because you must have been. Yeah, there was a big lapse in judgment to get him on.
Bradley's a bastard.
We're saying then, fucking Angus, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, Angus, well done. You got yourself a charity.
Spangus.
The guest that was most difficult to persuade to come onto the podcast, first being Bradley, the first person to ever turn down this podcast. Then we've got Sam, who, again, it was quite difficult to persuade him to come on because they said he would do it over Zoom and then he refused, saying he would only do it in person. And I literally had to buy him a Tango Ice Blast in order for him to appear. And then Taylor as well. For me, I think it's probably Bradley because he was the first person to actually turn us down.
No, Taylor turned it. No.
Sam turned it down
true.
inadvertently because he turned it down with like a proposition of like.
He's a fucking cunt, right? Because he fucking said to me, right, the second you do them in person again, I'll get you on. Done them in person, done like 3 weeks of them in person. I was like, Sam, you promise? Come on, get your finger out. You're coming on the podcast. He's like, no, I'm scared. I was like, right, I'll buy you a Tango Ice Blast if you come on. At that point, then the bag was secured.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that actually thinking about it, the fact that I had to spend some of my own money for him to come on the podcast, I think it has to be Sam.
That's fair, I'll give you that.
It's the first one that cost you money.
Sam, well done, you've won a charity. Best earliest memory. Now, long-time listeners will know we always start by asking every guest, what's your earliest memory? I literally had to go back through and listen to every single one of them to find the best three.
The majority of them just said to Liam, down your mum, so it's quite hard.
The options are Angus for saying that he threw a Rangers bus at his mum while saying because there were Celtic fans in it. Oliver, who slapped a girl for touching his dinosaurs. And Shannon for writing "fuck you" on the banister and permanent marker.
No, it's going to be Oliver's.
What, the slapping the girl for touching the dinosaurs?
That's incredible. No, it's terrible.
Right, okay, fine. Oliver, well done. You've won another chat. Right. Now, I thought I was being funny here because when I first wrote out these questions, I done the COVID award and I was going to say, oh, it's between Jamie and Dylan because, you know, obviously
No,
you two are the only ones that've had it. But now it's actually all three of us.
Well,
So-
you're in, so you win.
Yeah, I've ruined my own Christmas. I think I have to win it. So congrats to me.
Well done.
Yeah.
I will hang this with pride in my wall.
You struggle to hang a trophy, better be placing it on a.
What are you talking about? It's got holes there. It's got a nail through it. Boom, on the wall. Right. Dumbest guest. Sam for saying that he'll kill a fish better with concrete compared to TNT. Oliver for every action that he done in Israel. And Bradley for being Bradley.
Bradley for being Bradley.
You put up a good argument for Bradley. I have to lean towards Bradley.
Well done, Bradley. Feel free to collect your sign, chat. Right. Best movie of the year. We've got Spider-Man, No Way Home, No Way to Die, No Time to Die, sorry, James Bond, and Tom and Jerry. I couldn't think of a third film.
Well, there's been a lot of movies I've went to see this year. Cruella was actually really enjoyable, but I don't know if I'd.
Are you a Bond fan, Dylan?
I really enjoyed James Bond, but I'm just trying to think of any movie that I'd put over it because it's easy to just put that. Free Guy was actually really enjoyable, but obviously you're comparing. We're just looking at what movies came out this year.
I definitely say Bond.
Yeah, I mean Bond for me, although it's all like the greatest movie ever for the time that I've waited for it to what it actually delivered.
Suicide Squad was really good. I think so.
I mean, I didn't watch that, but
I'm not saying it competes, but I'm just trying to put more movies in.
that's fair. I think 2021 struggled for films just because obviously the cinemas were closed for more than half of it.
Right. I enjoyed the movies I've seen this year. I enjoyed actually. I think it's been a better year than last year for movies with COVID. It's been more it's been managed better, but it's still not great because it is still COVID. But yeah. Spider-Man was also really, really good, but there's so many flaws in the movie that they had to I get why they done it. They just had big flaws just so they could make it like a big reveal kind of, you know what I mean? Like
Bond was the best.
Right.
Yeah. Bond, congrats, Daniel Craig and James Bond. You've won a chatty. Feel free
and
to
James Bond, I thought he was James Bond. What's this, Liam?
Sorry. Best album of the year. Tyler the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost, Adele 30, Olivia Rodrigo Sour.
Honestly, I'm leaving Kid On. I've listened to Sour more than anything.
I have also listened to Sour more than anything, but I'm not sure I'd give it to Sour more than anything.
You know, I'm saying I'll give it to Sour because if I've listened to it more than anything, it's, for whatever you can say about any album that's came out, I don't think any's had quite much an impact as that one in terms of being so viral.
I'd rather get to Dave.
His album was a bit disappointing this year. I'm not gonna lie.
The other fucking three just said was shite.
His album wasn't great.
I'm partially in agreement that the album was kind of shite, but I also don't like. Well, no, I don't mind Tyler the Creator, but the other three I also don't really like that much either. I'm fine getting it to Dave.
The best song on the album was probably Verdansk.
No, it wasn't.
What would you say is better than Clash?
Aye, well that was better. Aye.
I don't like Stormzy that much, so.
I'm not a massive fan of it, to be fair.
It was a 12-song album. It was really just not that great. And of this, there was 4 songs over 4 minutes long. 5 songs over 4 minutes long. One of them was 9 minutes and 55 seconds, and one of them was 7 minutes and 59 seconds. I just don't. It was more like a storytelling kind of thing than an album. I just like music that I can just put on in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your votes then?
So
Dave.
Fuck, I'll go Dave and still give it to Olivia Rodrigo. Well done, Dave. Feel free to.
You're just sour, Liam.
Hey, good job. Worst movie of the year? Justice League Snyder Cut, Thunder Force, Home Alone, or I'll
Alright,
open up the floor to any others.
why would you put Snyder Cut in worst movie?
Because it was a load of pish. Jamie, you know how much you hate superhero, or how much you don't want to watch superhero films?
Uh-huh.
Imagine a 4-hour superhero movie in 4:3 ratio.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, so that's slanderous.
It
Home
was
Alone
shite. It was so shite.
Alone was Eternals is terrible. I'd put Eternals in.
Nah, I watched that. I didn't mind it that much.
Eternals is the worst Marvel movie that they've ever made. MCU movie easily.
You're muted, Jamie.
That was just moving closer to the charger.
Alright. I don't know, Jamie, have you seen any other movie that you want to put in here for the worst movie ever? Or
Nah.
Worst movie 2021?
I think I've seen 2 movies this year.
Thing
Not
was quite-
Shrek.
Looney Tunes was quite disappointing. What's it called?
Didn't you say you went and seen that, Jamie? That was a lot of shite.
That was.
What?
Looney Tunes. Didn't you say you went and seen that with Duncan or something?
No, I seen Space Jam with Duncan.
Space Jam. That's what makes
yeah,
it
sorry,
Space Jam. That was pretty bad.
Would you make that the worst movie ever? Or 2021?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't say it was good. I just didn't. I wouldn't say it was that bad.
What I'll say is I fell asleep during that movie, and I've only fell asleep during like 3 movies this year. So
I want to get to Justice League because it's a load of pish. I think
Liam,
Jamie,
that
you
is
should
absolute slander.
Jamie, I think you should help vote me for this. Can you think of anything worse than watching a 4-hour superhero movie?
No, but
Jamie?
he's not seen the movie.
I back it.
What
Thank you,
movie?
Jamie.
What,
Right.
can you repeat the options one more time quickly?
The options were Thunder Force, Home Alone 2021, or Justice League Snyder.
See, Home Alone 2021, terrible, terrible movie.
I enjoyed it more than Justice League.
You've lost, Dylan. Shut up.
Yeah,
That's
Justice
unbelievable.
League Snyder Cut was a load of shite. Well done. Right, best female guests that we've had on, not episodes, but just best female guests. We've got Sharon, we've got Taylor, we've got Rachel.
All of them sucked.
And no one wins the award.
I'll take the award home.
Personally, I want to get to Rachel. I thought she'd done the best out of the female.
Most
awards.
interesting kind of.
Nothing against the others. It's just like her podcast is probably the most interesting out of all the female guests that we had.
I'll just be biased. I'll just tell her.
Fair.
We're going to your head.
Down to you.
I'd say Rachel just because how she got to school was quite interesting, and
Yeah.
she's the only person there
She's
that I'd
gonna be
actually. Other than Taylor, she's the only other person that I actually know, so I can't get to Taylor. So.
Well, if you're getting it to Rachel as well, Rachel, well done. Feel free to collect your charity. Best male guest. I've put down here Angus, Cammy, and Menzies as a rogue shout. Just
Aidan.
because. What's that?
Aidan.
You're giving it to Aidan?
No. Out of the 3, Angus was by far my favourite.
By far the favourite, I'm just looking at everything, how they helped us out, how the episode was, how they went, and performed, I suppose. But yeah, Angus was a gentleman during it, and he also, was one of our most viewed. I think it's like top 3 viewed this year.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say Angus is my favourite for sure.
Yeah. Angus, well done. You've won your charity. Another one to add to the growing repertoire. Best podcast without a guest. Why the Pub is
This one,
Incredible.
because obviously I'm third host.
Unfortunately, I can't, accept it, because you're technically a, guest as well. Why the Pub is Incredible, episode 104. How would you spend $10 million, episode 79. UK YouTube tier lists, episode 67, or finally episode 100.
I was going to say episode 100. That's got my vote.
It's got a nice sentimental aspect to it. I actually thought, weirdly, I know it's like maybe recency bias, but I actually thought episode 104, like one of our most recent ones, is actually one of the best ones that we've done.
I think your Christmas podcast would have won if it wasn't obviously for it being the guest situation. I think the Christmas podcast probably the best podcast you've done this year.
I don't actually know what do I give it to? I'm going to give it to. I'm going to
say
give it. I'm
episode
personally
100.
voting for 104. Right, episode 100 will be something that I'll look back on in years, and I'll like be able to enjoy. Like, fuck, we done 100 of these. Like, let's
Oh, so
watch
is that it? Is that it just done now? Like we're not going for 150. We're not going for 200.
No. We
We've done
will,
100. We'll do some
but
here.
it's just like, see the other day then, yeah, I went, well, not the other day, see like when episode 100 came out, I went back and watched episode 50, and it was mad seeing like what we wanted to do and what we've achieved and like the goals that we set out for ourselves and how we managed to do it. And that's a good thing to like look back on in episode 100.
When was it you started consistently uploading?
This year, January 1st.
Nice.
I'm going fuck that. Fuck it, I'll go episode 100 then, because it's a nice thing to look back on.
I'll assume.
Speaking about things with a nice back, Jamie.
Episode 100. Well done. And final award of the chatties of 2021.
Oh, this is a good one.
I think this has already been decided, but you know, we'll still go over it anyway. Best podcast with a guest. We've got Angus's episode. We've got Aidan's episode. We've got Oliver's episode. Now, I want you to say why, though, Jamie, you're going to vote for who you're going to vote for.
Well, Angus, because I actually enjoyed it when I didn't expect it. It was informative and funny all at the same time. And it was an interesting cunt, although I didn't expect it.
I'm also going to give it to Angus for pretty much the same reasons. I thought Oliver's a very close second. Oliver's was fucking hilarious. But to see if you're like someone just wanting to watch a podcast, if you don't know who any of us are and you're just wanting to watch it the first time, I think Angus is probably the one I would show to everyone because it's like the best. I think it's the best interview you and me have ever done as well, possibly.
Aye.
So, I mean, is there any other one you want to consider now, even though it'll lose?
No, Bradley.
Well, Angus, the biggest and possibly most important award, the best podcast with a guest. Well done. Congrats, mate.
I don't like the way you said most important.
What do you mean not most important?
Most important is obviously the one that Rubik's Cube won. But it should have came first.
Are you ever not going to stop whinging about
No, I'm pretty set on this Rubik's Cube thing.
You remember before, Jamie, when we done it, we said we should just bin it. It doesn't belong on the wall. I'm starting to agree with that thought process. But it's kind of done. You potentially have a chance to relive, prove why Rubik's Cubes are great, because we're going to play the final game for the final time this year, and Jamie's going to explain how it works.
Wait, Dylan knows.
No, but some folk watching might not, so you better explain it.
And they can go back and listen to you.
No.
We're
Come
gonna
on,
get
final
him.
time this year, explain it.
Fuck's sake. Dylan, you're going to receive a letter, right? Now, with that letter, you can get the chance to re-roll it once. But then if you do re-roll, you need to stick with that letter. And with that letter, what you'll then need to do is Liam will read topics to you, such as places in Europe, and your letter was T, for example, you would say Tenerife. The idea is to get 10 correct as fast as possible. If you are struggling, click pass. However, if you do pass, time will get added on and your total will be increased.
Now, you're the first guest to ever do this 3 times, or host, I should say, as well, because even me and Jamie haven't done it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've still not beaten your first time yet. Your first time all the way back in 2019, I won 12 with 8 correct. You've still yet to beat that. Now,
I'm shocked that I've not bet it.
No, you've also as well let us on about how you've been practicing this.
No, but that's it. Like I said to you, it's so luck based. Like the letters that I get, I could do well with a good letter, but
Jamie, how much has he been practicing at the
a
show?
lot,
No, non-stop.
a lot. I always play with other people as well, so it's not just like me constantly getting quizzed. That it's like you're always just back and forth doing it. But
okay.
Then I'm gonna go do this and get the worst letter ever. The audio's going to mess up, and then I'm gonna cry myself to sleep tonight.
Well, for the final time this year, Dylan, your letter is F. Would you like to stick with F?
Oh, I'm passing. Get new letter.
Your
S
letter
is terrible.
is X.
No, it's not. Can't be
No,
X.
it's E. Yes.
All right, it's E. It's E. I know it can't be X.
Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Parts of the body.
Ears.
A fish.
Eel.
Things that are cold.
Eels.
School subjects.
Economics.
Terms of endearment.
Pass.
Cartoon characters.
Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Colours.
Electric yellow.
Movie titles.
Pass.
Nicknames.
Ed.
Things found on a desk.
Pass. Oh, this is terrible.
And a razor.
I know it's been terrible. It's been terrible. And I literally in Canto, as soon as I said pass on a movie, I thought of a movie. Enchanted and Canto, that's just they came to my head as soon as I said pass.
Jamie, do we give him
It's
one more
been-
chance?
It's been worse.
Are you saying no? Are you vetoing it?
Aye, he's keeping that.
No, Liv, come on, one more.
No, he's keeping that.
That's it. I have to go off with what the big man says, as well. Okay, so Dylan, with a time of sorry, I'm waiting for it to load still. Okay, with a time of 1
It's going to
minute.
be 1 minute and 14 seconds.
Nope.
25 seconds.
Nope. With a time of 1 minute, 31 seconds.
Embarrassing.
You're just below Geo.
Oh wow.
One
That
more,
is-
one more.
No, that's shocking. It
No,
might
no, we'll let him do one more, but it doesn't count.
Aye, I'll take that.
be- Okay.
Your letters B. You want to stick with B or you
Take
want
that, take B, take B.
3, 2, 1. Soup flavors.
Bristol,
Movie titles.
Batman,
Colors.
Blue,
Reasons to call the emergency services.
Blacked Out Drunk,
Diseases.
Bronchitis,
Ways to get from here to there.
Boat,
Things that are hot.
Bread,
A fish.
Bass,
Things that excite you.
Brazil,
Sandwiches.
Bologna,
Jamie, you there? Where the fuck is he? He just
technical
disappeared.
difficulties here.
Wait a sec, see if he comes back. Jamie, you there?
And this is a first for sitting and chatting.
I know, fucking hell, what a waiter.
One of the hosts has been murdered live on it.
I know. Well, anyway, although it won't count, I was going to say, what the fuck happened to you there?
Take a push.
Alright.
Shocking. Well, it'll make you happy to know that you got 45 seconds to think correct.
That's funny. The things that excite you, it took you that long to get boobs and binder, it just proves you're a bender.
What does it put for things that excite me?
Even Bobby, but it was Bobby.
Yeah, I mean,
Brazil.
it is unfortunate, Don. This is the third year in a row you still can't beat it, but you know.
I mean, I bet it unofficially. It's the worst part.
You
it's
bet
the
it
worst part about it.
unofficially, yes.
There's a bit of me that wishes I didn't even do that, but no. Shut up, shut up.
I can't wait for now next year before this comes about again. He's going to be fucking studying this like.
No,
fuck.
but that's the thing. That it's so like if I got B straight
You're
away.
happy with E though. You thought he was quite good.
Oh no, E's much better than F.
Yeah.
Mitchell done it with S though. Mitchell done it on quite a hard letter.
I'd say S is quite a good letter. I would have thought.
It's no B. B is the best letter you can get, I think.
B's the best letter.
Hmm
I don't know what anyone else done on, to be fair, but There you go.
Oh, I've studied every part.
Honestly, I would not be fucking surprised. Right. Is there anything else that we're wanting to add before we're finished?
That was a fix, and I'm not happy.
No, first Rubik's Cube's now
I
the
know.
time. No, just quickly though, before we are finished, Dylan, firstly, thank you for doing these. I know this isn't the first time that you've helped us out this year, so
Not my
thank you for
first
coming
rodeo.
on. I know, you're now an expert. How many
No.
have you done now, actually? Is this your sixth?
So
or
I've done
something?
I've done 3 game shows and 3 award shows now. 3 game shows
Yeah,
and 3
so
award
aye,
shows.
this is your sixth
This is my
podcast
6th.
now.
So
Fuck's
a new
sake.
game show is going to need to come a bit soon.
Judging by our track record, maybe not. But yeah, no. Unfortunately, it's a bit shame we couldn't have done this one in person to round it off. But
That would be the good thing about a game show, is just getting to do one more in person. Hopefully, it's been 6 podcasts and 3 attempts at a game, and I've only done 1 in person.
But no, as well, thanks, Jamie. I appreciate, obviously, your hard work as well throughout the years. Part of the reason why this
Falling
has
asleep
worked.
for the podcast and stuff. It's just.
But no, like, all piss taken aside, you've always been here when we've needed to do one, even if they have sometimes been
A bit late.
No, we've done none late this year. None late. Every one of them has been uploaded on time.
No, but I mean, you've arrived late to the recording.
No, okay, listen. But no, thanks, mate. I appreciate it. I think we've explained before, but me and Jamie are taking a well fucking earned break at this point for the new year. We
How
don't
long
know
are you
yet.
going to be off it? Oh, don't know yet.
No. Probably a month minimum. Yeah. No, minimum we're probably going to be off a month. Okay.
Coming back in February.
Break. It's going to be mad to not actually have to worry about editing and uploading these for once.
Are you excited?
Honestly, the fact that every Sunday now I don't have to sit about and fanny about my computer now is going to be so bliss. But no, in all honesty, I've really loved doing these. These have definitely got me through this year. So thank you again. And yeah, until next time, I've been Liam Whyte.
I've been Jim Allan.
And I've been the best guest you've ever had on.
Judging by the awards, that's not true. Catch us later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hello!
Hello!
No, fuck you. I just knew as soon as I started. Right.
We talk football and current events, sitting and chatting with the very best guests. We're 2 Scottish boys and we're loving it. So if you like witty banter, check the former #1 podcast on iTunes. Sitting and chatting.